Show Banter. Eric and I, this is Frank, and I'm on with Eric. We were just talking about virtue signaling. We're gonna have a fantastic show for you all today. Um, we got a
It,
little.
I want to I think virtual signaling is a type of gaslighting.
Yeah, we can discuss that because it's kind of an important topic, Eric. A little bit of news today. We still have that PlayStation Homie discount for everybody.
Yeah, it's gone up, but it's still relatively cheap.
Yeah, it's like 35 something, but it's
36 ish.
I just checked it. It was like 35 something. So,
Yeah, I think it's closer to 36 though.
yeah, well, I mean 36 still a good deal. So, so we have that.
I mean the baseline for deals for the PSN or PS Plus is usually 40 anyway, so if it's lower than that, even better.
PlayStation Plus is like 60 a year, Eric.
Yeah, but like if you can find a sale on it, it's usually in the 40 range.
Yeah, like 40, 45. So it's still the best deal you're going to get. I got a couple of reviews this week. You're going to want to stick around for those. No high escapades from me. I don't know if Eric or Break have any. We've got more on the protests. They're still raging on. I know what else I wanted to talk about, Eric. I want to talk about curfews. I don't know if they issued a curfew where you are, but we'll get into that. I'll just talk about it when I get to it. I put it in free for all, but I'll probably talk about it in Stinkos. We got some Stinkos. I don't even know what my Sweeto is this week. It's been kind of a rough week, Eric, for everybody involved. Again, I'm going to talk a little bit about Drew Brees and Colin Kaepernick. I know what was it, 3 years ago, somewhere around there, Eric. Yeah, sorry, Wyland. I don't know what's going on with Twitch. It's just the way that it is. I really don't know how to fix, but thanks for joining. We're just doing a little bit of pre-show banter. If you're just joining us, show hasn't started yet. So we'll be talking about violence in video games again. Eric brought up a video that I happened to see.
This is funny. Apparently, Trump said the economy is taking off like a rocket ship. You mean like the one in SpaceX that exploded a few days ago?
Yeah, I know.
That was their test run. Though.
Yeah.
Apparently, the other one was successful.
Yeah.
But still, the fact that it exploded means things.
We will talk a little bit about Trump, or as people are calling him nowadays, Clownold, which he hates, and or Bunker Boy. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that.
Or we could call him Mal.
Yeah. I'm going to
Mal
talk
Trump.
Yeah. Going to talk a little bit about Drew Brees and why I think he really, really is not a great person in real life. Doesn't take away from his accomplishments playing football, but oh boy, Drew Brees. Gonna talk about violence in video games again for free for all. Violence in real life and how violence begets violence. I sent out a tweet that you guys might or might not find interesting. We're going to talk curfews, some virtual signaling talk. So it should be a stack show today. Not a lot of RPG news, but we do have a few stories, but we will get into a lot more. So, Wyland, if you can hear us, give me a shout out on the chat.
I think we should come up with a new name for the Popo. We just call them Poo Poo.
Let's see. I always thought Breeze was a clown when he played here at Purdue. He's a great football player, Wyland. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. The guy is absolutely amazing. I've admired his play for years. I'm a big football fan. But I am not a fan of him in real life. And the more I learn about the guy, the more I feel like he is really like missing the whole point of everything. And we'll get into it.
Is he as unhinged as Notch is?
No, he's not unhinged. He's a very smart guy, but the problem is, like, he says stupid things. This is just like I'm trying to find a good analogy for Drew Brees, but I mean there is really no analogy because he's the one. I mean, I guess the best analogy I could bring to the table. I'm not saying Drew Brees is a drug addict or anything like that, but like Lawrence Taylor, I can't stand him as a person. You know, he was a huge drug addict and he used drugs and PEDs and all kinds of shit to get ahead in life. But you know, he was a great football player, and I take nothing away from his on field performance, but off the field, not such a good person. And I feel the same way for different reasons with Drew Brees. So we'll be talking about that. Talking about a lot of stuff on the show. I mean, we've got lots and lots of stuff. Thanks for tuning in, Wyland. Really appreciate it. I'm sorry you have to, turn on your Twitch app to listen to us. It's a real shame. I don't know how to get Twitch to work. I've tried every which way. I've tried turning YouTube off completely and different things, and there's just some type of Twitch issue with I think the streaming service that I use, which is a Restream, and there's nothing I can really do. I mean, I could look into just streaming directly to I guess directly to Twitch and see if that kind of helps, but I really don't know what to do to fix. But yeah, I appreciate that, Wyland. I really do appreciate it. Well, we should have a good show today. Just waiting on Break to get on in. Another TV viewers in there. Wyland is in there. If you're listening on the archives, make sure to join us live every Friday, 7 Eastern time. We're 3 subscribers on Twitch away from 50, which I guess gives me VIP privileges. I don't even know what the fuck that means. It's something about badges and other shit, so I'm pretty excited about that. I know it's not a ton, but that's pretty exciting. I mean, we have a ton of views on there. I'm not understanding. We have like well over 9,000 views in the short time that we've been on Twitch, and people don't subscribe. So if you're one of those people listening on Twitch or YouTube, just hit the subscribe button. It would kind of help us, and like the videos or whatever Twitch does, because that that'll help as well. Like we're not seen by almost anybody, so every little bit helps. But appreciate everybody that has subscribed for sure. But it should be quite an interesting show. I've got a couple of reviews, like I said. Oh boy. Lot of stuff. What is that, Eric?
A knuckle sandwich.
Oh, Dennis Rodman. That's funny. So yeah, we've got even though we don't have a ton of video game news, we do have a lot of world news, and we are going to get to all of it. So appreciate you all joining on the archives, and of course if you're in chat like Wyland is, you want to make sure and get in chat. There's a lot of interesting people that join chat. Wyland's one of them. I taught Wyland everything he knows about Mortal Kombat. Even though we've never personally played Mortal Kombat together, like he learned everything from me.
Yeah,
like
when you two are alone, he calls you Sifu.
I could tell you what my Stinko is. You saw the... Oh, I know what that... Yeah, Wyland DSP saying he's not going to play MK11 online. He's a big crybaby, man. Like seriously crybaby. Like, that dude, he's the biggest, whiniest... Like, I've seen multiple videos because Wyland always brings up DSP. And he is the single most whiniest YouTuber / whatever... no, I didn't see. Put the link in, Wyland. Let me know. I want to see it. Because you always tweet interesting shit. I mean, my timeline, dude, if I'm not checking my timeline 100%, it's all, like, they switch it around and they do all kinds of shit. But, so apparently that's not what the picture was, Wyland. So show me in, oh, your window. Yeah. Somebody busted out Wyland's window, I think with a slingshot or a BB gun or something. I don't know, but
are you challenging people onto fighting games online? They're just coming to your house now.
No, I'd have I'd honestly, trust me, I'd have a much better
Not
job.
you, him.
Oh yeah, Wyland, he might as well, man. He kicks everybody's ass online, so might as well just fucking beat him up in real life. I'd stand more of a chance of beating somebody up in
They
real
were
life
playing
than
the Street Fighter mini game.
Oh, gotcha. Let's see what else. Let's
They
see.
didn't get very far because I only punched the window.
Yeah. I'm gonna talk curfews. We have a curfew here in Denver for, I think, supposedly today's the last day, but I don't trust that it's not gonna extend. Like these protests haven't begun to, and it's not quelling.
Yeah, my city's having one, and we're such a tiny city. We might as well just be a town.
Yeah. So there's just lots of interesting stuff going on. We're just waiting on Breakman.
Actually, they started at 4. They're still going on, I think.
Yeah.
I can't hear them from here, though.
If you're just joining us, the show hasn't started yet. It's RP Grinders. I'm Frank, along with Eric. We're waiting on Breakman to get on in, and then we will start the show. So I never know when Break gets in. So let me know when you get in, Break, if you're listening. And we'll get Break in, and we will, do whatever. 250, that sounds, I mean, that's your deductible, Wyland, unfortunately. I mean, I don't even know what a window costs anymore, a windshield. It probably is like $500 or something, so you're, getting
I bet
half
the
off.
glass is like 20.
Yeah. I mean, you're paying, I mean, they're paying pennies on the dollar. They got to make money, whatever. Let's see. So lots going on. Why does this? Eric, you want to tweet out that we're live on Twitch and YouTube with the Twitch link? Some people might not be able to listen, but whatever. Cancel my appointment to get it fixed since they don't have that specific one and have to order it. Of course they do, Wyland. They can never take care of you. It's like, I don't even know. Oh, that is something interesting. 57 officers resigned in Buffalo. I need to put that down as well so I don't forget it. In my stinkos.
What's the YouTube link?
Just put search RP Grinders in YouTube. And
I'll just not type anything.
yeah, don't worry about YouTube. I'm not worried about. Let's see. I'll do this. Okay. Just waiting on Break. He might. I don't know if he's back at work, but let's see. And then okay, yeah, I read that. We'll wait a few more minutes. We'll wait about 5 more minutes for. I guess we could wait 10. We're just doing some pre-show banter. If you're just joining us, show's RP Grinders. We're live every Friday, 7 Eastern time. So if you get a chance to join us, Twitch has been having some issues, but if you listen to the mobile site on your browser, like Wyland does, you can listen to us there. You can also listen to us on YouTube. Just search RP Grinders, and that's where you can get us as well. I got both chats open, even though the main chat is in Twitch. So maybe listen to us on YouTube and have the Twitch chat open. That works. Or do what Wyland does, have the Wyland says Break is praying that Kevin Bacon doesn't curse him today. Yeah, I don't know what he did to piss Kevin Bacon off, Wyland, but man, that Kevin Bacon curse is something else. So yeah, if you want to join us live 7 Eastern, you can Put us on YouTube. I do monitor the chat, even though hardly anyone is in that chat. But maybe you can open up a tab in YouTube, listen to us there, and then open up the chat on Twitch, and that'll work as well. Or you can do what Wyland does, listen to the mobile Twitch, and open up another tab and get the chat and stuff like that. So lots to talk about today. We're going to be talking more protests. We're going to be talking curfews. We're going to be talking about violence in video games again, which we haven't talked about in a long time. Violence in real life. I sent out a tweet that you guys might be interested in. I'll discuss that. Virtual signaling. If we get some time, we'll talk about virtual signaling. We may have to push that off to next week. It'll just depend. Moral licensing, some other stuff. I think we talked moral licensing. I'm gonna.
We didn't actually talk about it at all.
Oh, we didn't. Okay, well, I'll leave that in there, Eric. If we get to those, we get to those. What's more important to you, virtual signaling or moral?
Virtue signaling.
Okay. If we get time, we'll talk about some virtual signaling, and then moral licensing might be pushed till next week.
It's virtue, not virtual.
Well, I said virtue. It just kind of sounds like the way I talk, man. Let's see. So just waiting on Break, and then...
either that or Break has found some ganj and he's smoking it with Kevin Bacon. They made up.
That would be a cool time, man. Talk Footloose and some of the early Kevin Bacon movies. Like, here's a trivia question for you, Eric. What was Kevin Bacon's first big role?
I have no idea.
Friday the 13th, Part 1. Yep. The first Friday the 13th Kevin Bacon was in. So, there you go. The more you know. We're coming up on our 600th episode in 6 weeks. So, a month and a half. And I'll be giving away, I have a trivia question that I'll be asking.
I only know that Corey Feldman was in the third one.
Fourth. He was in the fourth.
Okay.
Yeah. Other than Jason, his character...
Well, I'm going by, when they started introducing Jason, sorry. That's where my time scale goes.
Yeah, 4. He was in part 4. That character was in 4, 5, and 6, which is the second longest tenured character in the entire series. Jason, of course, being the first. Let's see, what else? So yeah, we've got, a ton of shit to talk about. We're just waiting for Breakman to get on in. Usually we start around 7 Eastern. I'm going to check my Twitter just to make sure.
I had to get up early this morning because the protests were going on at 4 and they wanted us to get out before they started setting up.
Yeah.
So we had to work from 6 to 2.
Yeah, okay. Okay, I'm just looking at my messages. I don't see anything from Break. We'll wait until 5 or my time 5:15, 7:15 Eastern, and then we'll get the show started. I'm sure Break will be here. He might have pissed off Kevin Bacon, like Wyland says. Wyland, nice to see you in chat, man. How you feeling? How you doing? I haven't had a chance to catch up with you on Twitter or otherwise, so glad you're in there. It seems like you're doing okay. Other than your window being smashed. Are you riding? Hey, Wyland, are you riding around with like a plastic bag on your window there, or how you doing it, man? I heard a rumor about Halloween Kills that I hope isn't true. They'll have Loomis back in a flashback. I'm mixed on that, Wyland. If it's in a flashback.
Halloween Kills the next movie.
Yeah, and I'm interested. I can't wait. That's gonna be fun. I wouldn't mind that because Loomis is such a huge part of Halloween that, paying homage maybe in a tiny little flashback, like if it makes sense within the context of the movie, Wyland, I guess I'm okay with it. I mean, it is what it is. But whatever. I wish we could come on here. There's Break. I'm glad he tweeted that. I'll go ahead and retweet that.
That was. Oh yeah, that was him.
Let's see.
Maybe I just did a bat signal type thing. I just needed to mention his name.
Yeah, there you go. So yeah, there you go. Just waiting on Break. I'm sure he'll be here soon. Wouldn't mind it if it was just Loomis, but it's like, let's have every character in the first show up. Yeah, I understand that, Break or Wyland, but the problem is, you have like Halloween, like it came out in what, 78? I mean, the big contingency of Halloween fans are like those old school horror fans that if you didn't include some of these characters from the first, they
Gen Xers that are old farts now.
If you didn't include some of those characters, you would lose them, and that's your base, man. And it's just the way it is. Why is Nurse Chambers even there? Yeah, I agree, Wyland. That is kind of weird. Like, if it was Loomis, that would be, Nurse Chambers just there just for, for nostalgic reasons, no reason whatsoever, and I totally agree with that. But Loomis was just referenced in that the remake, not remake, but sequel, whatever. But such a huge part that if you get away from Loomis completely, then you might lose a good chunk of audience. So I understand why they're doing that, but what I don't understand is why they can't just let go and try to get new fans. That's the whole thing. I actually like that Halloween, Wyland 2018. I thought it was really good. For the first time in a long time, I thought it was actually kind of scary. So Break. Breaks in chat, so we'll be starting here real soon. Unless they're taking Loomis' story from H2O and Planet and Kills. Possibly. I could see them doing something stupid like that. I hope not. That would... I mean, I like H2O too as well, but... let's see. I don't even know what that means. I'm looking at Twitter and... okay. Oh, what else? Yep, U.S. protest demonstrations continue across the country. What is? I mean, we've got plenty more to say. You'll hear it on the show. So, oh Jesus, I don't even know what the fuck this shit is, man. Okay, let me get. I text you, Break, you son of a bitch. Okay, let's see. There he is. Okay, let's add Break. Oh, calling Breakman right now. Pick up, Breakman. I know you can do it. You can do it, little buddy. Shit. All right, Break. Do we have you?
Yep.
Oh, right on, dude.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
He called you little buddy, which means that you're the happy of RP Grinders.
I'm a little what?
Well,
Little buddy.
I was like, kind of being sarcastic, and I was like, pick up, little buddy, like just doing shit like that. And,
Happy is a character from Fairy Tale.
Yeah.
I thought you were talking about Happy from the show Happy.
No.
Yeah. Okay.
That's why I was confused. Like, what? I don't remember that line from the show.
Okay. Lots to talk about Break. I was just telling everybody we've got a full slate. We've got just a little bit of news, and then we'll get into some other stuff. Oh boy, I bet you we've got some stinkos this week.
Nah, it's all good news.
Yeah, it's all great news. Until you get to my stinko, at least, and then it'll be. We're gonna be.
Until you open your blinds and look outside.
Yeah, exactly. We'll be talking about violence in video games again. That'll be an interesting discussion. Violence begets violence in real life, which we'll be discussing. I sent out a tweet. I don't know if you guys saw it, but...
I have a stinko, but I haven't listed it, but I'm going to talk about it.
Well, put it down.
You're a stinko. Sorry.
Yeah. We're also going to be talking about curfews, and if we get a chance, we'll be talking about some virtue signaling. And if you don't know what that is, tune in. You will find out. We will explain all to you. So, you guys ready to go?
Yes.
All right. Eric, you ready?
Yep.
Okay, let's do this. Intro's kind of grown on me. Welcome to RP Grinders. I'm your host, Frank Branches, alongside my trusty cohorts, Eric the Great, Breakman the Bold. Gentlemen, how are you?
It's like a fungus, just growing all over you, huh?
Exactly, man. It's like it's got these little tendrils, sort of like an octopus fungus, and just kind of like wrapped around me, and it won't let me go, Breakman. So I don't know what to say.
I didn't know octopus had fungus.
Just like Last of Us, man. Lots to talk about on the show. We did a little pre-show banter before break got on, but I think we're gonna have a spirited show again today. Like Breakman said, just don't look out the window, because if you do, you might get a little sad. But we'll try to brighten up your day a little bit before we bring you down at the end, which is what we do here. So yeah, So gentlemen, like Breakman, how you doing, man? You survived the week?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm alive.
You're alive. Okay, well that's good news. I mean, I'm alive too. Are you still working from home, Break?
Yeah.
Okay. Just making sure that everybody's
it's pretty
good
awesome. And as far as I heard, we're at least doing it through mid-July, I believe.
Well, that's good, man. They should maybe contemplate doing it permanently. Would you be okay with that?
Oh, you mean working in my house? Let me see here. My mornings consist of getting up about 5 minutes before I have to work and clocking in.
So what you're really saying, Break, is you wake up in your undies and you're working in your undies. That's what you're saying.
No pants. Yay.
Oh, commando. There we go.
Called them undies.
Yeah, undies. It's better than panties. Better than panties.
Underwear, man.
Usually like Britain, just call them pants.
Yeah.
How about
we
with some children?
How about we split the difference and I say underpants? How about that?
Okay, fine.
Okay. I mean, it's better than underoos. I could have said underoos, but I'm nice like that, man. I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna do you like that.
I don't think I could afford underoos when I was a kid. So.
Yeah, I couldn't either, man. I was relegated to like the Kmart specials, like.
Yes. There was a lot of shopping at Kmart for poor people.
Yeah, blue lights.
Yes. The poor people always go to Kmart.
Yep, blue light special on aisle 10 on children's underwear. Yeah, and then I'd always end up with the shittiest ones, like with the plaid, like polka dot plaid pattern,
The fashions were horrible, and I always get those. What was that? These shoes I got, they're like generic Nikes, and they were called Air Core or something like that.
Yeah.
Like I remember like people calling them Corpse. I'm like, that's not what's that.
Yeah.
You need to English.
Shit, I would be lucky to even have any type of brand on my shoes. Break like mine.
Well, I mean that was like the generic whatever brand, the store brand that was dirt cheap.
Yeah, whatever was the cheapest, man. Exactly. And you know what? But back in the day, Break, man, I have to say, like those cheap shoes last a long time. You go to Walmart and get a cheap pair of shoes now, and they're not going to last you but like a couple months.
Yeah, unfortunately, those Core shoes lasted a while.
Yeah.
So that the Corpse. Yeah, you're bringing up horrible flashbacks, Frank.
Well, let's get to it, Eric. Let's start with the news here. RPG news. All right, Eric, take it away.
Okay. We remember how we talked about the game Tower of Time?
Yes.
But it's got a date, and it's coming out later this month on June 23rd for the PlayStation 4, on June 29th 5th for Nintendo Switch and Xbox One on June 26th.
Is this? I mean, it looks like a Diablo type game. Is it more of a strategy type game, or what? What is this, Eric?
Isometric tactical RPG. So
Okay.
I'm thinking maybe more like Baldur's Gate.
Okay, that makes sense because I was looking at it and I was like, it sort of looks like Diablo-like, but not really. Sort of looks strategy type. So yeah, maybe a mix of those games. It looks great. Looks really, really good. Digerati is not the greatest developer in the world. They don't have the greatest track record, but this game
They're
actually.
a publisher. The developers Event Horizon.
Well, anything that comes out from Digerati, you have to kind of look twice. But this game actually looks good, so maybe Event Horizon did a really good job with it. So.
That is an awesome name. I love that.
What, Digerati?
No, Event Horizon is their developer.
Yeah.
Name.
You ever seen that movie, Breakman?
Yes.
That's an underrated movie, man. I like that. You know, there's footage that is forever lost to time that was like much gorier and like much more horrific than what was shown on screen. But they lost the print, so you can't. We'll never be able to see the true vision of Event Horizon, which is a shame. So,
there were some generally horrifying moments in that movie.
Yes, I totally agree, man. That was a scary movie. It was a science fiction haunted house movie that was really, really well done in my opinion.
Yeah.
But all right, break. What do we got next?
Coming to us live from RPG site, Idea Factory International to release Neptunia Virtua Stars in the West in 2021 for PlayStation 4.
This was the game that was originally called VVV Tunia, or VVV Tunia.
Oh yeah, I remember. I'm glad they renamed it, man. That was not going to be a good name for it. So what are some?
I'm sure like the VVV part is like a Japanese like VTuber meme that we don't know about.
Probably. So what are we getting for key features, break?
Key features: switch on the fly, seamlessly switch perspectives between melee and ranged shooter characters in fast-paced hack and slash battles. Get the right combos for more bonuses and greater damage. Feel the beat tick rhythm. Team up with real-life virtual YouTubers and get fans riled up in beat tick rhythm game performances to save the planet. Okay?
I don't even know what that means, man.
Like I said, a lot of stuff I don't understand.
Yeah.
BGM got me going. Background music can help or hurt you in special boss battles. That's interesting. I like that.
Yeah.
Changing battle conditions and even unlocking coordinated finishing moves. I've been playing Lumines this week, and the music plays into what you're doing on the screen, which is I love that kind of thing.
That's an interesting concept, break. Like I would like a video game where you could put your own music, and based on the type of music that you put in, you like get different effects. Like if you were to put in like Slayer or something, something aggressive, you get like bonuses to like, I don't know, like hack and slash. And if you put in some like, I don't know, bullshit country music, you get like bonuses to run away
you get
or something.
Negative points.
Yeah, you get negative points. All right, what else we got? Break.
And last is cheer up the VTubers. VTubers can randomly join you during battle to help. With their support, they can cheer you on during play and even provide you with a special prize if you make their dreams come true. Wow.
I like how they're designed and shaded to look like VTubers.
Yeah.
Like the Kurone and Kaguya Luna and Kizune Ai.
Yeah.
I have no idea what the fuck I just said, but it sounds interesting.
No, it does. It does. This game sounds actually like it's trying to do something different, break, which we always talk about. It doesn't seem like the same old shit. So that's nice. That's really nice. Even though Neptunia has been around for a while, this looks like a little bit of a different concept.
It's been a while since they've done a main entry, though. This is still another third party spin-off.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a spin-off, but it's got interesting ideas. We'll see how it turns out when it comes out.
I think it's made by Tamsoft, which has done like Cyberdimension, Neptunia, 4 Goddesses Online, and then the Zombies game, and then the Action Unleashed game, but it sounds like they're actually thinking about how to make these hack and slash games.
Yeah. Well, you know what's not thinking of making hack and slash games, Eric? This comes to us from RPGsite.net. Strategy RPG. Banner of the Maid to release for PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and Nintendo Switch in 2020. I'm glad they gave us.
This is a game that's a tactical RPG like Final Fantasy Tactics, but it takes place during the French Revolution.
Yeah, I've seen
Which
this.
is apt for what's going on right now.
Yeah, I saw this, Eric, and I thought of Breakman actually, and I'm like, this is probably a game that Breakman might like quite a bit.
Play because they're making an Xbox One version.
Yeah. Then I was gonna mention that too. There is gonna be an Xbox One version. It looks a lot like Final Fantasy Tactics set in the French Revolution. So there you go.
Which is a lot like Jeanne d'Arc, which is a PSP game.
Yeah, I tried playing Jeanne d'Arc, but I'm not a strategy RPG guy. But Breakman, this might be something that you might check out, dude. It looks actually looks really good.
Another game I'd suggest to Break says this PSP. He's got a new PSP. Is Gungnir.
Yeah, Gungnir. I've heard good things about Gungnir, man, for sure. So, what do you think, Break? Would you give it a whirl? Did we lose Break? What the hell's going on?
Maybe.
Yeah, we probably lost Break. Oh no, he's on silent. I think he's away for now.
Kitty must be bothering him or something.
Yeah, the kitty. Always blame the kitty. So there you go. All right, Eric. What do we got?
So either that or Kevin or Bacon has showed up.
Kevin Bacon showed up to harass Break. All right, Eric. What do we got next?
This is somewhat interesting. Like so many years after the fact, but now you can buy the Slumbering Dragon Quest ring from Dark Souls.
Yeah, I saw this. The price point is a little too much out of my range, Eric, but I like it. It looks cool. Looks really cool.
I wonder how many people will actually use it as an engagement ring.
Wyland says Kevin Bacon is knocking on his door. Yeah, that's probably it, Wyland. I think we figured it out. Break is...
Apparently it's 925 silver carat.
Yeah, so it's got some weight. It's a silver piece, but maybe 175 is not too bad. But
sizes range from 4 to 11.
Yeah, which is fine. And if it has real silver in it and it's not just plated, it might not be too bad of a value. But the ring looks awesome.
I want to get one just so I can get into a fight with somebody. Because really, how awesome would that look in somebody's forehead?
Oh man, like you put that on your middle finger, Break, and you get into an altercation. You happen to hit somebody right on their head or in their throat or something. They got that.
I think the sale value of silver lessens of blood on it, though.
Yeah, but you put that symbol right on their throat or forehead, Break, and then you're really like legendary, man. You ever done that, Break? Have you ever been in fight and like you hit somebody so hard with the ring you put a indent in them?
No, I've never hit anybody with a ring on before.
I have. just saying.
I'd wish I'd had one at the time. Yes.
Yeah.
Any of those times I'd been in fights, yes, it would have been nice to have something.
Yeah. Brass knuckles even better.
Anything, anything at all.
Roll of quarters works really good in your hand too.
This would be nice. I would have took a pencil. Anything, just anything.
Pencil, like you grab a pencil and just punch somebody. There you go. All right, let's see. Who did that story? I think it's Break. You get the honor of the last story.
Oh, cool. This one comes to us live from Silicon Era, and it is about the Game Gear Micro revealed set to release in 4 color variants in Japan, which is the original color, blue, yellow, and red.
Yeah.
I'm just basically taking everything from them. They don't have to do. You guys don't need to do anything. You can just pay me. I'm doing the story. Okay. Anyway, just kidding. The following. I didn't realize it's different games with each system.
Yeah, and that's why it's so bad because like only 4 games is $50 each for each one.
Holy shit!
Fuck that.
But that will not work in the U.S.
No way.
Yeah.
They'll have to rework it to include all the games on one.
Yeah.
Thing.
And
the lineup will change because a lot of these games are Japan specific.
Yeah. What were you gonna say?
And Gunstar Heroes is a terrible version of Gunstar Heroes.
Yeah.
Okay. The Game Gear Micro measures 80 millimeters in width, 43 millimeters in height, and 20 millimeters in depth. That is tiny.
Mm-hmm.
To make it less. What's that?
I said I hate tiny screens. Why can't
Yeah.
I make it bigger?
This is going to be very small. And less than 8% of the size of the original Game Gear. Yeah, and original Game Gear took like what 8 AA batteries.
This is smaller than the Game Boy Advance Micro was.
Yeah, it did take like 8? No, it was
6 batteries.
I think it was 6. Yeah,
Ridiculous,
yeah,
yeah.
6.
It comes in 4 colors, which I said. Each of the Game Gear colors has its own set of 4 games, which is absolutely fucking ridiculous. The mini handheld console will be available for 4,980 yen, which is, you said, about $49. Okay, so the original black one is going to come with Sonic the Hedgehog, Puyo Puyo Sue, Outrun, and Royal Stone. Blue is going to come with Sonic and Tails, Gunstar Heroes, Sylvan Tail, Baku Baku Animal. Yellow is going to come with Shining Force 2, Shining Force Final Conflict, and Nazo Puyo Arl no Ro.
Rue. It's
Ru-
French.
Ru. Megami Tensei Gaiden Last Bible. This is a red one, by the way. Megami Tensei Gaiden Last Bible Special, the GG Shinobi, and Columns.
There's the GG Shinobi 2.
Where's the original Gangster Shinobi?
Yeah.
Where's OG Gangster? OG Shinobi.
I'm surprised
Yeah.
they didn't take the opportunity to put Streets of Rage 1 or 2 on here.
Yeah,
for
while
Game Gear.
Wyland says things I won't be buying. If they included all the titles from the yellow and the red, I would buy it for
like $5 each one, maybe, if it's
yeah.
only going to include 4 games. Like,
Yeah.
no, like $50, no.
yeah,
Absolutely
$50 a bit too much. If they charge like 35, that would probably
I
be.
almost feel like Sega's trolling us so that we shout that we went like not this, but we wanted Saturn and Dreamcast Club Minis.
And why not?
Well, if you think they're trolling you, we're not done yet. So, lastly, a set featuring all 4 Sega Game Gear Microcolors will be available for 29,980 yen. This includes a special Sega Big Window accessory, based on the same accessory that was available for the original Game Gear. So, to be able to see these games, you need to buy all 4 of them as a package, basically.
Well, yeah, and here's the other thing. Like, why didn't they just make the screen bigger to begin with? Like, they could have easily have done it, and it wouldn't have cost them, like, hardly anything more. Like, make it big. Like, make the system smaller, but the screen bigger. You know what I'm saying?
Game Boy Advance size.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
just make it bigger. Like, it's so stupid. Like, why would anybody buy that? Like, it's so dumb.
I was so excited for this. I didn't realize it was 4 until reading the story. Now I'm just like, what the fuck, Sega?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
This will be out on October 6th in Japan. And
Yeah.
so, there's also a special Smoke edition. It's a bonus replica that comes with the 4-pack bundle. Oh, wow. So what, it isn't even a game, it's just a replica? Oh, that's
Yeah.
lovely. You get a
Classic.
fake one.
Here you can get something that looks like a system that doesn't play
Yeah.
like a system, but there you go.
And the strange thing is, Sega's apparently got an actual console in development of some sort.
Yeah, I
And then-
heard that. That's interesting. I hope they come out big and they come out
I was
swinging.
hoping for like a Dreamcast Mini or something.
Oh,
or a
dude.
Saturn Mini, like
Yeah.
with the import games on it, because those are some of my favorites, like the X-Men versus Street Fighter.
Like
It
Shenmue.
was arcade perfect. It was fantastic.
Yeah, I liked the Dreamcast a lot, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dreamcast was some good shit, man. Like
Yeah.
that system could produce 60 frames per second on certain games, and it was a thing of beauty, man. I loved
Yeah.
it. I mean, we're finally, from all the rumors, we're finally gonna get 60 frames per second on the next consoles, man. I can't wait. I mean, it's not gonna be 4K.
Sure.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
It's not gonna be 4K 60 frames, but it's gonna be 1080p 60 frames. I'm pretty sure. So on a lot of games. So I can't wait, man. I'm really excited for that. Fuck off, Brickman, you son of a bitch. Okay. We still got that homie discount, $35 for PS Plus on CD keys, so check that out. I didn't check out any of the other sales. I know Sony's got a big one. Microsoft always has a big sale, so check those out. Breakman, should I hit you?
Microsoft had a decent enough sale for me to get the Zero collection.
Oh, okay.
With the points that somebody gave me for my birthday. Thank you, Frank.
Yeah. How much was it?
It was only like 20% off or something like that, but it was like, yeah, it's still cheap.
Well, there you
like
go.
$25.
Yeah, around that.
Yeah, there you go.
A
Right
little
on.
bit less, but
Well, good, man. Glad you got something that you really wanted, man. That's the whole point. Should I hit your music break?
No.
God damn it, man! What is it gonna take for people to like send in questions at RP Grinders?
The problem is, I mean, when they do, it's only 3 people really that send questions.
I know we need more people involved. If you're listening on the RP,
because we can't always rely on them. Like I feel like we burden them too much. Like Freak does so much work. For
I
us.
know Freak is like the honorary 4th member of the show. You know, along with Wyland. Wyland's always in chat and stuff. So yeah, it's like.
If we were being compared to EGM, he'd be the that ninja dude. I forget. I think it was something X.
I have no idea.
I forget what it was called. Called.
Yeah. So there you go. Let's just move on then. We will do this.
Inquiring minds want to know.
What you been playing, Breakman?
I've been playing Final Fantasy 15, which, as I talked about the first half of the game, you know, I was in Chapter 8 for probably, a month and a half almost.
Yeah.
And then after that, suddenly I'm flowing through it, and I was at the end of the game when we last spoke, and I finished it.
Yes!
The last,
excuse me.
9, 10, it's like 10, 11, 12, like all those chapters are very short.
Yeah.
And the story, the story takes a really dark turn, and then it gets really a bit clustered towards the end too.
A little bit too busy.
Like they're too much with too little. Like they're giving you too much to talk about without like giving you enough gameplay to experience it, like they did with the other chapters.
They were running out of money at that point.
Yeah. Yeah, they had to throw everything at you right at the end there. Breaks.
And then the end left some questions. I had to look online to find answers to.
The game's technically unfinished.
Yeah. Well, some people that I saw online were saying, well, yeah, they give backstories on all these characters in the DLC and stuff. I haven't played the DLC yet. Like I'm still playing now that I've beat the main game, I'm playing the end game stuff before I get to the DLC. But I shouldn't have to go play the DLC to get background on characters.
I agree.
The main game. Yeah. Like, what the hell?
It's better than reading a lexicon. Final Fantasy 13.
That's true. That's
true.
Oh
God, 13. Ugh. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's good, man. I'm glad that you finished. You're not gonna do a review until you do the DLC, though, right?
As far as like the main game, main Final Fantasy, because this is really the first Final Fantasy that's gotten, besides the online ones, that's gotten DLC. You know.
Yeah.
13 didn't, it got sequels. So for as far as the main game of Final Fantasy, I'd say half the game was really great, and then it felt like the second half of the game was more rushed.
Yeah.
That's because they switched developers from Nomura to Tabata.
Yeah.
Is that what happened?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's basically what happened to Final Fantasy 12 happened to 15.
Yeah, 12 was good, man. I like 12. 12's good.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. Just there are some questions that they really explain very well when you get to the second half, and then the ending happens which doesn't answer some questions, and you're like, what the fuck? Well, what's going on? So anyway.
Oh, did you buy it on discount break, or did you get it?
No, I got it on Game Pass.
Okay, in Game Pass. Oh, there you go.
So I get all the DLC and shit for free.
That's awesome. That's great.
Not free. I pay $15 a month, but whatever, you know.
Yeah, I know what you mean. But that's good, man.
You don't have to pay an additional fee like fucking Stadia.
Yeah. I think we'll wait on a final score from you, Break, until you play the DLC.
Stadia is a subscription-based service, but you still have to quote-unquote buy the games.
Yeah. All right.
As far as like the other Final Fantasies, like this one feels the most to me like your characters really like get to know or like get along, and they talk to each other and they communicate throughout the whole game for the most part.
Yeah, it's not like 13.
I don't want to spoil anything to end, but like when things change, like when a game takes a dark turn, like the relationship really starts to take a strain too.
Yeah.
Between the 4 friends, because they are the best of friends throughout the whole game. You get that. Definitely get that impression.
Yeah. From what I played, I know what you're talking about, but yeah.
Which I like. I like that a lot. That's not something you really see in a lot of games.
I need to have time to play the game.
I know, man. Like, I want to play that game, but I'm, haven't been able to play shit, to be honest. So I haven't. Obviously, I talked about it last week. My I mean, I'm getting better. So the lack of playing video games and lack of like doing much with my right arm is kind of helping. But it's gonna take some more time because I can still feel, it's still a little swollen, like all the way from my elbow to my wrist. So it's like.
Once you know you can do the Western grip, you'll be good.
Yeah, I haven't done any Western grips yet. As soon as I can do that, I'll be cleared to play video games again. So probably next week I'll have some more to talk about. Probably DQ11. I'm gonna get through that game. That game is, oh man, it's good. That's all I'm gonna say right now. But
something else kind of annoys me is like there's not a lot of weapon variety, especially towards the end of the game. I got very few new weapons. In fact, I got like the best weapon for the main character early in the game. I never found a weapon better than that.
Best because like it's good in pretty much every situation, or best is because it's just too overpowered for its own good.
Yeah.
I hate that.
It's stronger than everything I've picked up ever since.
That's interesting.
Unless if you in that type of blade, I mean, the short sword or regular sword type blade, the main character can wield any blade, and he can use like the long blades, which are stronger, but they're really slow.
Yeah.
And then there's also the king's blades, which those are all strong too, but they suck your life when you use them.
Oh, that sucks, man.
Yeah. So I don't use them that often.
Yeah.
So basically, the main weapon I used was the sword I got very early on. So whatever.
Yeah. Okay, man. We'll eagerly anticipate the full review when you do the DLC. It shouldn't take you too long to do that DLC, man. It's not.
Well, I'm doing the end game stuff because one of the things, you know how I complain about some of the dungeons being really short and stuff like that. It's because end game they're deeper dungeons. You go in and fight deeper enemies into them.
Yeah.
I think that's dumb. Like, you should have made them separate dungeons. You shouldn't like just give us short dungeons or whatever. Anyway.
Yeah.
That's a minor gripe because that half the game is fantastic. I have so much fun with it.
Yeah.
Just like driving around the countryside and shit and killing the monsters and raiding enemy bases and just exploring.
Yeah, it's what I played of it is really fun, man. So yeah, I know what you're talking about, man. It's definitely a pretty game too, man. That's it's visually very striking and very cool and nice, good characters too. That's always a key.
Okay.
So all right, well we'll look forward to that for sure. Break. Eric, what have you been playing?
Just more Seventh Scarlet and Xenoblade Definitive Edition.
Okay.
That's really it.
All right. Well, let's move on to reviews.
RP Grinders reviews.
Okay. Eric, I didn't see anything under you. Break, did you have any reviews?
You kind of already did it for Final Fantasy.
Yeah. I was going to say, like, there's all the Arrowverse shows are wrapped up, but then I just remembered there's a new one just started. So,
which one? Which one's that?
They just added Stargirl to the lineup.
Oh, I did see that. That's cool, man.
I have not seen it yet, but I haven't seen Batwoman either.
I've never seen any episode of any Arrowverse show, and that's surprising because I usually like stuff like that. So
I was gonna watch Batwoman, and now I don't know because the main character already quit the show.
Wow.
So, so the next season they're gonna have a completely new Batwoman. Yeah. Wyland says Batwoman is pointless now. Yeah, I was gonna binge watch it, and then as soon as the series wrapped up, she's like, I quit.
Yeah. Well, maybe give it a chance. Maybe the next one will be fine. I don't know, but. Batwoman, who played her? I mean, it was that hottie. I know that, but
what's her name?
I can't remember her name. I know. I could see her
Rose?
face. Yeah.
Rose something. Or
yeah, something like that. I don't know, but she was super good looking. But Ruby Rose.
Yes,
yeah. Wyland. Thanks, Wyland. Right track. Wyland's the expert DC guy, so anything DC, Wyland, Wyland really knows. So. Yeah, I'm still gonna watch it. It might be good. I have to binge watch all those shows. I mean, it's probably gonna take me like a year to get through Arrow alone. So, but I will eventually watch all those. That'll be fun to watch.
When it gets to Legends, just skip into the third season.
Yeah.
Because the first season was basically let's throw everything at the wall and see what we got.
I tried.
I
tried
and
Legends.
The second season was really them finding themselves.
Yeah.
And then the third season, it just becomes a completely different show from the other ones, and it's been a blast ever since. They just wrapped up their season, and I love the season finale of that one.
Yeah,
the season finale of it the last year was really good too. Because they've made the show basically a comedy. Compared to the other shows.
Yeah, I tried watching it, and I couldn't get into it, but maybe I'll jump back into that one as well.
Yeah, like I said, skip to the third season because it's a mess early on.
Yeah. All right, let's do some reviews. I've got a couple of quick reviews here. The first one is a little mini series on Shudder called Blood Machines that's really new, just came out on there. It seems to me more like a high concept kind of thing. Like each episode, there's only I think there's only 3 episodes, and they're 20-25 minutes each. So it's basically a movie, but it's not a really complete movie. It's a science fiction with very light horror elements about a crew of 2 basically, on a ship that lands on this foreign planet, and they discover this, another ship, and there's a weird, mysterious woman on the ship with an upside-down cross on her front side that goes all the way down to her vagina. Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, it's an interesting high concept, but the acting is not the greatest. I didn't like the guy's acting. He portrays himself as a complete asshole in this little mini series. But basically they discover that, and she ends up being this super ship type thing. I don't know. And there's some AI, and there's all kinds of shit going on. And I really like the visual style. It's got a really colorful visual style, which really resonates with me. I love stuff like that. So that was interesting. So I'm hoping that they, I'm hoping that they continue with it and give some more context on who these people are, why they're doing what they're doing, and more of it. Basically, there just wasn't enough to give a full impression. I can't really give you guys a good synopsis of the show because it's I just said it. It's a couple of guys that land on this foreign planet. They get confronted by some of the locals. It's a couple of women, and a little bit of chaos ensues, and they discover another woman on the ship, and there's some AI. I mean, it's kind of batshit crazy. I can't give any more than that. That's what it is. But it's worth a watch. I wouldn't give it super high marks. I'd probably give it a 6.5 out of 10 purely because there's not a lot of context. So it's definitely worth a watch, though. It would only take about 45 minutes of your time, so it's not like a huge investment of time. It's labeled as a series, but it's really like a mini tiny series. So it flew by. It's basically 3 episodes. So check it out for sure on Shudder if you have it. It's worth a watch. The next movie I want to talk about, you can watch free on Vudu. I don't even think you need a Vudu account, or if you do, you can set up a free account on Vudu, and there's all kinds of free movies you can watch with ads, of course, but they're not super intrusive. I mean, it's basically 4 or 5 ads the entire time that you're watching the movie, so it doesn't really take you out of the movie. It's called Hostile, and it's a really good movie. It's also got light horror elements. It's basically about a woman who is driving in a what looks like a post-apocalyptic zombie creature type movie, but with not very many zombies. But the zombies that are there are super aggressive and super powerful, and it's got a lot of the same tropes of zombie movies. But she ends up crashing and breaking her leg, and there's a while she's in this vehicle, trying to figure out what she's doing, she's attacked by one of these zombie things, and interspersed is her love story, basically. So it's basically more of a drama love story, but a really well-made drama love story with a lot of context, and I love this about this movie. Excellent writing and a really good love story, not a fucking Twilight love story, but a kind of a real life scenario about a woman who is she's kind of messed up in the head. She's hooked on drugs. But she's a hustler. She's trying to make her way in life, and this guy is an artist, and he basically takes her kind of away from that life and tries to get her clean and stuff like that. So they end up getting married, and then obviously things go south. He ends up passing away, and it's her basically having flashbacks of her love of this guy. So I highly recommend watching this. I don't normally like dramas or love stories, but this movie was really well done, and I would highly recommend watching it. You can watch it for free on Vudu. It's called Hostile, and it's definitely worth a look. So check it out for sure. All right, Eric, you didn't have a review, did you?
No.
Anybody have a Heiscapade this week? Because I did not.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. Okay. Do you break? Did we lose break again?
No, but I had to unmute. I was just like typing and talking in chat and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, everything but.
You made me look like an idiot, man.
All right. So I guess then we get to move on to everybody's favorite segment. Oh, not that one. Definitely not that one. This one.
What is it?
Stinko of the week.
All right, Breakman, your Stinko of the week.
Okay. I've got two. One is I'm very worried about what's going to happen with COVID-19. There's definitely been spikes of it around the nation, and with the protests going on like they are. Yeah, especially, and the police aren't wearing masks when they're out there doing that stuff. It's just, yeah.
I was talking to Eric before we got on the air, Breakman, and he was like really wanting a haircut, and I'm like, I would just hold off, dude, because there's, like you said, Break. There's been, I was looking at the numbers. In Colorado, there was a small downtick, but now there's an uptick. And I looked in Ohio, same thing. It seems to be trending up now. And people aren't taking. I mean, they are taking it seriously.
It started, I think, with the with those terrorists, those so-called protesters with their assault rifles marching on the Capitol buildings. You know, terrorists.
Yeah.
And the spike started in those areas, and then now with everything that's going on, like just
too many people are not wearing their mask outside because they thought they think reopen means we don't have to wear a mask anymore.
Yes. Not only that, like it's how often do you see people like side by side, like in like packed in crowds and stuff like that? Like there isn't any social distancing.
Like it's kind of hard to social distance when you're protesting, but I did notice a heartening thing is like a lot of these people are wearing masks. I did notice that. Like that's.
I don't even know if the protests that are happening outside my place, a few blocks out from here, are wearing masks. They probably aren't.
I don't know.
What I've seen around here is it's like 50-50. It seems completely random who's wearing masks and who aren't.
Here it seems like the video footage that I've seen, because I'm not going out there. Like I want to, but with COVID, like you said, Breakman,
California is going to start opening places like gyms and shit.
I've got two problems going out to protest. I want to really bad. You guys know how I feel. Mm-hmm. I would be first in line to get my ass kicked or killed by a police officer. I make no bones. I told my mom and dad, like, if I go down there, I just want you to know, like, I'm not going to shut my mouth. I'm not going to, mince words. These guys are absolute felons, and they need to be told as such, and I don't, if I'm going to die, I'm going to die for the right cause. And this is the right cause at the right time. But the problem is, I got too much to live for, and I I don't want to get sick with COVID. I mean, it's one thing to die by the hands of a police officer, but it's another thing to die. I think I had that fucking disease.
Die out of the hands of a police officer, get them infected, and they'll affect others.
Yeah.
Well, see, my problem is with that, like infecting others.
Yeah.
Like I'm less worried about what it'll do to me than like people in my life that I know that if they get sick, it could be the last thing that.
Yeah.
It could be it.
Right.
know?
I'm not so much worried about myself either, because I think I already had COVID and it was awful, and I felt like I was literally gonna die. I detailed it on the show.
It could have been pneumonia, but pneumonia makes you more susceptible.
It wasn't pneumonia, man.
Yeah.
It just wasn't pneumonia.
And we talked about I talked about my dad a lot last year. Like it was like it seemed like he almost died 3 separate times. Like I can't risk getting him sick again.
No, you're right, Breakman. You have every right to feel that way, and there's no problem whatsoever with it.
Yeah.
What else you got, Break?
We know that cops have been using chemical warfare on citizens for a while. It happens every time there are protests and stuff like that, but it's usually denounced and such. And the government says no, like we shouldn't do that, or we're sorry, or whatever bullshit they come up with.
Right.
But this past week, Donald Trump ordered the DOJ, the highest police force in the country, to use chemical warfare against peaceful citizens, protesters, so Trump could walk across the street to do a photo op in front of a church.
Yeah, I also
a
have
church
that.
that he's never been to, from a religion that he doesn't actually subscribe to, with a book that he doesn't actually read.
He has never been to
you
church
there
his
was like
entire
one
life.
proof in that whole thing. They asked him.
He also can't.
Bible,
He also
said
can't hold
it's
it
up
up right.
Hold on, Breakman. What were you saying? There was one truth.
Yeah, he said when one reporter asked, "Is that your Bible?" He said, "It's a Bible."
Yeah.
that was like the only time he told the truth in the whole thing.
Yeah, and Eric is
upside down.
Yeah, he held it upside down and backwards, which I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure that's blasphemous. I'm not.
I think he's just Trump being Trump, though.
No, I
He
understand.
doesn't know is the thing. He's an idiot.
Yeah,
he
I
just
know.
pretends like he knows religion, and then when he gets called out on it, he throws temper tantrums.
They've asked him several times.
They don't hold him accountable. It's always like, oh, the baby's being a baby and stuff like that. Well, no. Next time he tries to bring up something like that, you get on him.
I did hear a question one time from, he was on, I believe, OAN, which is a Christian right-wing extremist bullshit.
Oh, they're one of the worst.
Yeah, they're one of the worst propaganda outlets out there. They're worse than
They're
Fox.
one of the racist.
Yeah,
most
and racist.
blatantly racist
Yes.
websites.
But they asked him, like, what is your favorite Bible verse? He couldn't recite anything. He doesn't know anything about the Bible. He doesn't give a fuck about the Bible. He doesn't believe in any of its teachings. He is not religious. It's the first time in history. I think Obama was an atheist, but didn't outright say it. He went to church.
No, he was a Christian. Well, he was going to church the whole time he was in.
Yeah,
he was going to the same church he was going to before he was the president.
I know.
I think much like Obama's career, everything was performative, though.
Yeah,
that could be true.
I believe it is true because his mom was an atheist and he thought very highly of his mother and all this stuff. But that aside, right?
That could be true.
Trump
But anyway, even though, as you said, maybe he was an atheist, he still knew the words when he was in church with Bush and Clinton and their wives as they all sang.
Yep.
And Trump stood there not knowing anything.
Do you think he even knows any of the hymns that people used to sing? Like
he's never been to church.
I know. It's so weird, man.
He's been there for showtime, like, hey, look, I'm here, I showed up, and then he's one of those first people that's gone.
It's all for show. He knows that the evangelicals are propping him up. Like the evangelicals and the racists are the only base that he has. So
the evangelicals are completely insane. They're like, well, sometimes God gives us imperfect men as saviors and stuff. Are you fucking kidding me?
Right. This imperfect man that grabs women by the pussy and
perfect. No, like
I can think of plenty of other imperfect people that are better than him.
Yeah, like
anybody
is insinuating that he's got some flaws and then he's actively worked to change them.
Yeah,
You know,
no, this
or
guy.
did he's at one time in his life said he's sorry or he apologizes, which he's never done.
Yeah, he's never done that. I mean, to this day, he still hasn't.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hide it better, is what he means.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
To this day, he still hasn't apologized to the Central Park Five because he still thinks that those innocent men should be killed. Why? I wonder
Because
why.
they're black.
Yeah, because they're black.
Oh, I'm sorry. I wasn't supposed to say that out loud.
Yeah, yeah. Somebody else is in chat here. I'm trying to read the name. Erking Tarrant is in chat. Thanks for joining. Really appreciate it for sure. Hope I said that right. If not, correct me in chat. So yeah, I agree with that, Brakeman. I also had Trump as my stinko of the week for the same exact reason. The night before, he hid in a bunker and turned off the lights. Like, that is, I can't think of anything more weak than doing what he did. Right? There was no danger. He wasn't in any.
He also
danger.
made a wall.
Yeah, and now he's got a. I mean, I tweeted out like when I saw that there was a wall being like put up on the outside of the White House, I was like, I bet you he's gonna get Mexico to pay for that wall too, huh? And, you know, like just being sarcastic, and like he's the weakest, most feckless president. I think for sure we can honestly say that. That even George Bush was a stronger president, and I never thought that I would ever talk of George Bush in a more of a positive light than Donald Trump, man. But it's true. Like he is the weakest president I think we've ever had, at least in my lifetime. And I'm gonna go ahead and say it. He's the weakest president in history, and the shittiest president ever. Like, and there's been some doozies, man. We've talked about it on the show before, but he is definitely on the high on the list. Are you guys still there?
Yeah.
You know who else I have as a stinko? Did you have any more, Brakeman? I didn't mean to cut you off. Did we lose Brake again? Or is he still on mute? Yeah, we lost Brake. Let's see if I can get Brake back. I don't know what's going on here. We'll try to get Brakeman back. I totally agree with Brake on all of that Trump stuff. I mean, he couldn't have said it better. Like, you go there for a fucking photo op, and there is a curfew there. The curfew was, I believe, 7 o'clock their time, and they ended up gassing those peaceful protesters at 6:30 just for a photo op. And I think my grandfather would be rolling in his grave right now. You know, if he knew all the shit that was going on with Trump. My grandfather was a decorated World War II veteran who stormed the beaches of Normandy and, you know, a bunch of other stuff. Liberated Jewish death camps and other stuff. And you know, this guy is definitely not the way to go. Trump, he's awful. And he's a piece of shit.
Yeah, I wish I'd heard him last a couple minutes because, God, I hate him so much. And
I just agreed with everything you said. I agreed with everything you said, Brake. I just added that I truly believe he's the weakest president and the worst president we've ever had. And that's saying a lot because Obama droned civilians. Yeah. And Clinton was a piece of shit for a myriad of reasons, a war criminal. Both of the Bushes were war criminals. So, I mean, and Trump's a war criminal.
None of them build a fence around the White House. We already had a fence around the White House, but you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, an extra.
Another fence around the White House to protect his sorry ass because he's afraid of the average citizen.
Yeah, is Mexico going to pay for that wall, Brake?
No, I'm just paying for that one.
Yeah, anything else, Brakeman?
The whole like denial of it and everything. Like, no, we didn't use tear gas. We saw you. There were cameras of various news channels. Caught it all. Yeah,
there's no shame in his game, Brakeman. That's why he's super dangerous. He's a pathological liar, and he has to perpetrate those lies over and over and over again. And he does perpetrate those lies over and over and over
sort
again.
Of like what how the Daughters of the Confederacy perpetrated the lies about the South over and over again to, you know, build up the Confederacy as something that it wasn't.
Yeah. What they should have been doing is denouncing it as traitors and being done with it into the dustbin of history. But, I mean, we can't even get rid of fucking Confederate memorials anymore, Breakman. And that's, I mean, why? Like, those are symbols of oppression.
Well, some
and,
people have.
Well, if we get into the Sweetos.
Okay, hold on. I got to do my stinkos here.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, but yeah. Okay,
I'm going to get to you, Eric. But let me do mine real quick. Kind of piggybacking off of that, Trump just denounced Drew Brees for apologizing for his remarks. Now, here's the thing. Like, okay. Drew, I'm a huge football fan. It's no secret. I talked.
You want to hear my Drew Brees impersonation?
Yeah, go ahead.
What he sounds like when he's sitting at home.
Go ahead.
I wonder why all those brown and dark people are making so much trouble.
Okay, that's a perfect segue into this, Breakman. Like, Drew Brees still doesn't get it, right? All right, I think 3 years ago we had this conversation about Kaepernick when he was first doing it, and I think there were dissenting opinions on the show based on a lot of lies. Yeah,
my opinion was based on sports itself, not on like whether he should be protesting the police or not, because absolutely it's his right to protest.
But
I disagreed with just the whole team aspect and everything.
But here's the whole. I mean,
most people were making it about race.
Most people, including the NFL, were making it not necessarily about race, Breakman. They were making it about the military, right? Over and over, we heard.
No, I mean they were doing this because it was a black man protesting.
Yeah.
If it was a white man doing it, they wouldn't have conflated that.
I'll get into that in a little bit here, Break. But just hear me out on this for just a second. We had a spirited discussion, right? None of us were mad, but we were discussing things. You had your point of view, which I understood.
I was very mad. I'm not gonna lie.
No, I don't think we were mad.
They yelled at you for it. No, I think your priorities were messed up.
No.
I was mad.
No.
But that was a long time ago.
Yeah, here's the thing. People do adapt and people do change, right? And they understand things. Breakman, I've got to give you credit, dude. Like I've been this way too. Sometimes like I'll say things the wrong way and I'll come back and say, yes, I was wrong. And, Break was right or Eric was right or whatever the fuck, we say, when we're on the show, because sometimes we have heated moments. We're different people. We have different views, whatever. But I think sometimes history has a way of correcting itself, guys. And what I mean by that is we had this discussion of Kaepernick. And looking back on it now, doesn't it seem kind of silly to be upset at Kaepernick for what he did? Like, honestly, like I had zero issues then, and I have zero issues now. Like to me, he did something revolutionary, right? He peacefully protested police brutality, and that's where the disconnect was. Most people were thinking that he was disrespecting the flag, and Drew Brees,
which in itself is a problem.
Well, that's because people were conflating it. Like,
yes.
That's because the Tucker Carlsons and the OANNs of the worlds were saying that's exactly what he was doing.
Right.
Their people are like, oh yeah. And
so,
well, look at that black guy. Obviously, he hates this country.
Yep.
If he wants out of this country, he can go home.
Right.
Or, whatever shit.
But it totally missed the point of what Colin Kaepernick was doing, right? Everybody thought he was a douchebag for kneeling during the national anthem because they thought he was A, disrespecting the flag, B, disrespecting the country, and the most important thing and the most complicit thing that the NFL has some answering to do is disrespecting the troops. Over and over, you would talk to the owners, and they would say something that would allude to the disrespect of the American troops, right? Nobody in their right mind. And I don't even think you made the argument, Break, when we were, discussing this back in the day. We weren't saying that he was disrespecting the troops. That we all understood, right? That is not what Colin Kaepernick was doing back in the day. You could make this.
I was arguing about when he was doing it, but you know what? Now, like if you think about that, like you said, compare it to rioting, for instance.
Right,
A man
right.
taking a knee anytime he wants to was like a peaceful protest.
It was
We shouldn't-
definitely a peaceful protest.
Yeah.
There was nothing he did that was wrong.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, if you remember correctly, Colin Kaepernick went the extra mile and he asked a special ops Army guy, very high-ranking official, at the time,
Marine.
whether or not it was the right thing to do, and he got the blessing of that troop. So he was very thoughtful before he took that first knee. And when he took it, he started something, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's culminating today, and it's resonating with people. And now the bigger point is being brought to the forefront, right? It's very simply about police brutality. And if you didn't believe it before, right, you should believe it now. Because I saw a video, right, and this is another stinko of mine of
I've seen a lot of videos. This week,
Buffalo
but-
police. I don't know if you saw this one, Breakman. There was a couple of Buffalo policemen. There was an old guy. He was like 75 years old.
See, everybody's seen this one because it was a white man.
Because it was a white guy, right? Okay. So here's the deal. This 75-year-old who turns out he was a peaceful activist. He was a pacifist. And he went up to a police officer to ask him a question. You could clearly see him.
He was returning something. If you notice,
Yeah,
in the
yeah.
video, he's returning a helmet to him.
Yeah, there was something he was doing. I didn't quite know. Thanks for clarifying that, Break.
Yeah,
Because
he had one of their helmets in his hand and he was returning it to him.
Yeah,
Go
and
on.
this despicable police officer pushes him, and he topples over and cracked his head open, and now he's in critical condition. Okay. That's not the most disgusting part of the video. You know what the most disgusting part of that video is, guys?
Oh, I know, but go on.
There was one police officer who had a shred of humanity that tried to kneel to see what was going on with this guy because he laid motionless, bleeding out of his ears, right? Mm-hmm. This one police officer went to kneel to see, what was going on with this guy. Another police officer ushered him on. Like, leave him alone and just keep going, right? Not one of those police officers. So you guys hear me rail about the police over and over and over and over again, all right? This is why I think not 5%, not 10%. I think 95% of police officers are absolutely atrocious and are worthless. And this is a very good example.
Yeah, this is a fine example, too, because, like you said, all these police officers, it wasn't just those two. There were a lot more that just walked on by.
They
but
walked...
Also,
right.
Also,
yes.
What did they say on the news?
He tripped.
They covered it up.
Yep.
They tried to cover it up.
Yep. So not only...
So all the so-called good cops are always covering for the bad cops.
Right.
That's what happens. That's what we're seeing across the country.
Right. I've gotten into major fights with my own family about the police, right? And they will defend the police to the bitter end. There's no like logic in their thinking. There's nothing that could convince them that cops are bad, right? This video is of a white 75-year-old man that got brutalized by a cop, and none of the other cops. So when I say like 95% of them are bad, this is why, because they see what's going on, right? And they do absolutely nothing. They have no moral compass. It's why I believe that 95% of police are complicit. And I hate this argument. It's just one bad apple in a bunch. That's total horseshit, because if you see something like that, you're supposed to be a first responder. Police are first responders, right? If I saw somebody in the street like needing help, I would at least go check on them and say, hey, do you need me to call an EMT or an ambulance or something?
The whole argument I've heard is, well, they called for an ambulance. What do you want them to do? Just
stay there,
stand around him, and
yep,
stuff like that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
He's bleeding out of his fucking head.
Yep.
Yes.
Try CPR maybe he's like not breathing. Check his pulse.
Yeah, like check all this stuff. Don't move him or anything
right.
like that.
Check his pulse. I mean, do something to make sure the guy's still alive at first.
We can do to make your fall more comfortable.
Yep.
Like something we can do to help.
Exactly. And I thought, Breakman, you know what my first impression was? I thought they killed this guy. I literally thought he was dead. And I'm like, wow, if he dies, maybe that'll be the cultural change that we need. You know, it's sad, But maybe a white guy dying like that might jar people's thinking into thinking that, yeah, maybe there is a problem with the police, right? And that's the argument I keep having with family members and people online and stuff like this. Like, they don't see the bigger issue, right? Drew Brees is another example. This guy does not get it. He still, to this day, thinks that it's about the troops. You're disrespecting the troops. And he says, my dad was in the Army and all this stuff. I got news for you, Drew Brees. My grandfather...
I think that's all a cover. Like I said, my impression of Murray is what I think is actually going on.
Yeah.
I think it's just I think he's fucking racist.
I truly believe it too. I mean, I didn't want to about Drew Brees. He was one of my favorite quarterbacks, Breakman. I love the way that he plays. He's not much taller than me, and he plays like a fucking 6'5", like perfect quarterback. You know, you couldn't ask for a better quarterback on the field.
You know, I've always had kind of a little problem with Drew Brees because I said a long time ago Drew Brees is one of the most overrated guys ever, and then he's done nothing but prove me wrong.
Well, I know he's
son
like,
of a bitch.
I know, dude. He's a good quarterback. I've always admired the guy. He's always been the underdog, right? And I like people like that. Doug Flutie was the original Drew Brees. You know, he was but
I
Drew
like Doug Flutie, yeah.
Drew Brees is the ultimate Doug Flutie. You know, like he's surpassed like everybody's expectations. He's won a Super Bowl. He's going to get all the records as far as passing and all that shit goes, right? Which is no easy task in the NFL. But
I know, keep rubbing it in. I was wrong. I know. Go on.
But as a human being, Drew Brees is a piece of shit. I think it's pretty clear. It's sort of like I made the analogy before we got on the air, Breakman, like Lawrence Taylor. Lawrence Taylor was one of the greatest football players ever. If you ever had a chance to watch Lawrence Taylor play, he was a fucking beast on the field. Off the field, he was a womanizing fucking drugged out piece of shit, right? And I have no problem saying that. Same thing with O.J. Simpson. O.J. Simpson was a great football player. Off the field, piece of shit, right? Yeah. There's lots of people that you can say that, and I think we can now firmly put Drew Brees into that category. Great football player, awful human being, and that's just.
Do you think he can learn?
Maybe he did issue an apology, but he didn't apologize for the right thing. He still doesn't get it that the kneeling isn't about disrespecting the troops. The kneeling is purely about police brutality and systemic racism, man. That's all it is. It has nothing to do with the troops, even though the NFL wants you to believe that. And to this day, Colin Kaepernick is still blacklisted from the NFL. Why Kaepernick right now? Kaepernick could be a starting quarterback for any number of teams in the NFL and play much better. I'm not saying he's like, you know, in the Drew Brees category or the Aaron Rodgers of the world or Tom Brady or anything like that, but top 10 probably. Kaepernick is probably a top 10 quarterback. And he's still out of a job. Why? Because he took a knee for racial injustice and police brutality. And the Buffalo police also get my other stinko of the week. I don't mean to rant, but these issues are pretty important. And you know, but all right, Eric, let's go with your stinko of the week.
Well, first, I want to make a correction from last week where I talked about Anzac's passing. I'd said that he might have died from cancer, but I was only kind of right because it was suicide due to depression.
Oh man, that's terrible. Did he have cancer at the time or?
No, it was depression.
Depression's a hard one, man.
Which is a mental cancer, so it's not wrong to say it was cancer, even though I wasn't right.
I've had my bouts with depression. Like I went through a really nasty divorce. You know, and it's I lost everything. I lost my house, I lost my car, I lost my kids, lost my wife, lost, you know, my money. I mean, I lost everything. And you know, there was some really dark times for me, and without the help of this show and some other people in my life and other things that I was doing, and also weed played a big part in getting me out of depression too. I know, you know, people talk of drugs in a bad light all the time, but without weed, like my physical ailments would have probably put me over the edge, and I might have checked out. So depression's a bitch. You know, if you know somebody that's depressed, lend a hand. You know,
because I started listening to memorials, and yeah, they're basically alluding to it.
Yeah, lend a hand, lend an ear. Sometimes a good listener is all somebody needs to get over some of the stuff that's going on in their life. You know, suicide's no joke, Eric. That really sucks, dude. So, anyways, continue on.
But I'm also made the decision to not create any more content for VogNetwork.com.
Yeah,
the
that's
reason for this is because I had a disagreement with Rob, and it ended with him threatening to block me because for having an opinion on Obama.
Yeah.
I challenged his beliefs. He doesn't want them to be challenged, so he silenced me.
Yeah, and this is a problem. Like Obama is a super revered president, and if you look at his record, he was an awful president. He did absolutely nothing, and people point to Obamacare as like the shining achievement. You know who wrote Obamacare?
And it was all premeditated because he did a stupid performative speech about Black Lives Matter, which is rich when you consider that during his entire tenure, he did nothing for that, and he is a war criminal.
Yeah, and besides the fact that in that speech, he never mentioned police brutality, not even once.
Or like if he's actually even doing anything. Like Kanye West is doing more for Black Lives Matter than he is right now.
I know, and that's strange, man. That's really, really weird.
Which, on another note, Michael Jordan's actually donated $100 million. No, $100 million.
$100 million. See, now he's a billionaire. That's no small amount of money. I wish.
And I know he's a white guy, but even Arnold had a video, which meant more to me because he lived in Austria during World War II.
Yeah. It's a shame that you left Vogue, man. Like, I've had a.
I can't write for a place that claims that it's a place where every gamer has a voice when that's clearly not the case.
Yeah, it's sad because if you just sit there and look at the facts, Obama was a shitty president. He wasn't a good president. The Obamacare, which is also named the ACA. I hate when they name things after presidents like Obamacare or Romney Care or whatever the fuck it is. Mitt Romney wrote that. A Republican wrote the Obamacare. So, you prop up a Republican policy and you think that's the greatest thing ever. I mean, I guess whatever.
I don't give praise to people who don't follow up and are consistent on it. Like Infinity Ward had the audacity to claim they care about Black Lives Matter when they have been funded by a military organization and made basically propaganda games for decades.
Yeah. You know what sucks? Obama had a super majority in both the House and the Senate, and he couldn't get even fucking Medicare for All passed. That's pathetic. He passed a Republican bill. And
some people erroneously think it's because the Republican-controlled Senate kept him from doing that. But no, you could have pushed harder. You didn't.
Yeah.
Well, not only that, the Republicans didn't have it at first. At first, he had control of both parties.
Yes, he could have.
Both houses were controlled by Democrats when he first took office.
Yep, he could. He had like I said, he had a super majority in both the House and the Senate. Mm-hmm. He could have passed anything he wanted, and the best we could do is the ACA, which is fucking. He
was more interested in doing things like trying to get Chicago as the home city of the Olympics.
Yeah,
like this is also a person who, locked up Chelsea Manning for 9 years.
Yep,
because exposing of said war crimes that he was complicit in.
Yeah, and also he could have, or he shouldn't have droned innocent civilians in foreign countries. I don't care what anybody says. People in foreign countries are just that. They're people. Not every Middle Eastern person is a fucking terrorist. I don't give a fuck what the MAGA chuds say.
The large majority of them aren't, we should say.
The vast majority are not sympathetic with terrorism.
Yes, it's like,
and they are not terrorists.
Less than 1% of terrorists?
Yeah. I would venture to say way less than 1%, to be honest. Freak Five's in chat. Welcome on in, Freak Five. I didn't see you join in there. He says the ACA was called Obamacare to disparage it, which is absolutely correct, and get Republicans upset about it.
And I know some of these. I know Rob is not a bad person, but
no, I know.
But you have to be a special type of delusional to consistently let yourself get gaslit by someone who's obviously not looking out for your best interest.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I think a lot of what's going on with Obama is comparative. The last few years have been an absolute fucking nightmare.
Yeah.
And comparatively speaking, Obama is fantastic if you compare him to Trump.
Yeah, but fantastic in what way? Like I'm trying to think of anything that Obama did.
He's not
by not
gaslighting everybody.
Well, that's true.
Being a fascist.
Well, I mean, okay, so
Trump's done a lot of things where he's trying to pull the forward. Like we said, Obama in 8 years never put a larger fence around the White House.
Yeah, no, I agree.
It doesn't matter that Obama wasn't a fascist and Trump is. The point is that they're both garbage.
Yeah, they're both garbage.
I'm saying, like, comparatively speaking, I think in a lot of people's head, there's a lot of, like, we've dealt with Trump for the last 3 years. The guy before him was better than he is, so obviously he's great. I get that, but I actually, like, it has to be more nuanced. Like, you have to delve into things. Like, we always talk about Trump putting kids in cages, right? Like, we're always, like, railing against that.
Too. He amped up ICE, and Trump only made it worse.
Yeah. This is a little known fact. Obama deported more people than Trump ever will.
Yep.
So, you can put Obama on the highest pedestal that you can think of, but I will forever remember Obama as being the deporter in chief. So, that says it all right there. Freak Five, I hear your point, man. He says the ACA is a piece of shit, which it is. It's the ACA sucks, man. It should be Medicare for all, hands down. No question about it. We're the only fucking industrialized country without Medicare for all, and it sucks for everybody. It sucks for the employers. It sucks for the employees that are paying thousands and thousands of dollars into fucking Medicare that they may or may not use, or their own health care, and high premiums, high deductibles, fucking co-pays, and it fucking sucks.
And as bad as they're destroying everything right now, like in Washington, they keep taking away more and more, and borrowing from those, like Social Security, for instance. Like when we're older, what the fuck are we gonna get?
We're not gonna get anything.
So basically,
what the fuck are your kids gonna get when they're older?
Yeah, exactly. Then nothing. There's nothing to look forward to in this country. We are more and more becoming what Trump called African countries, a shithole country, and it sucks. It really, really does. We need to move on to.
But I wanted to do a closing.
Oh, go ahead, Eric.
I'm gonna go scorched earth a little bit, and I hope that the word of my departure passes on to all more people, and they call him out, because I want him to be shamed of doing the right thing.
Yeah, he really should apologize to you, Eric, or at least hear your point of view. To silence somebody and not hear their point of view and where they're coming from is absolutely atrocious. On this show, we have dissenting opinions. We've had people on here anywhere from people as delusional as thinking that Pizzagate was a real thing to high-end people.
I don't think he's anything compared to the number of people that Reginald Finley is on this show.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Like
that's as close as we got to that level of idiocy.
It wasn't just that he believed it. It was like how long you guys went back and forth on it.
No, it's just
two episodes of it.
As soon as he got to the transphobic stuff, we should have called out on it more.
Yeah, but in the moment, I mean, it's hard to think on your feet a lot of times, Eric. Like you guys, I mean, everybody knows our stances on things, right? I mean, we've been doing this show for 12 fucking years. Like, if you don't know what we are about, like, by now, like, I don't know what, you might want to listen to something else, but I don't want anybody, I want them to listen to us, that's the whole point. But,
Yeah, assholes. It's not. I meant people. It's us.
But yeah, I get it, and I understand your point, Eric, and I hope that maybe one day, he's welcome to come on Grinders.
I'm still going to listen to ORR because there's other people than Rob there whose opinions I do care about.
Yeah, I stopped listening a long time ago for different reasons, but yeah, I understand, Eric, and that's fine. Like that's it's a free country still. For now, it's becoming more and more authoritarian, but and I've talked about that before. Like do you think there's a chance that we don't have an election in November?
If Trump has his way.
Yeah.
Well, no, if he has his way, we'll have an election, but he wins in a landslide.
Yeah, we'll see.
But he's, he is actively working to destroy our elections.
Yeah.
I'm worried that he'll lose the popular vote just like last time, and the electorate will betray us just like last time.
Yeah, I think that's how it's going to go. Actually, I think this time around, I think he might even win the popular vote for some reason. Like, I don't know why I have that feeling, but I don't think Biden's going to win. Biden's such a weak candidate. Like, he's feckless. Where's Biden now?
One of the things I've been hearing a lot lately is well, I mean, look at what's going on. You think there's no way he's gonna win. People have a short fucking memory.
Just wait till November. They said the same thing about Hillary.
November's months away. People will have forgotten about this by then. That's how brain dead a lot of people are.
Well, if you remember, Hillary was a shoo-in to win the last election, man.
I know.
Then that's what they're saying. And it's the same. It's almost the same thing. I actually think Biden's a weaker candidate than even fucking Hillary Clinton was, and she was weak as hell, man. So I don't know. But anyways,
hopefully he doesn't behave as arrogant as she did at the end. Like she really thought she had it in the bag. I mean, she was spending so much time on the whole inauguration celebration and stuff, like breaking the glass ceiling and just look, you should be campaigning in the states that you think you got in the bag. 'Cause you didn't. You lost some of them.
At least she campaigned. Biden has not campaigned one fucking bit. Not in the primary. He's not going to do it now. He's a feckless coward.
He's waiting until the election time, which for him will be sometime in March or something.
Oh, Jesus
Because he has
Christ.
no idea where he is.
Yeah, oh, God, he's so awful, man. Like, he's as bad as Hillary, maybe even fucking worse, man. Like literally. He's
as bad as as much as I don't like Hillary and said a lot of bad things about her, at least she knows where she is at any given time.
Yeah, I mean... I go back and forth which is worse, Hillary or Biden, and it's fucking close, man. I don't even know what to say about it. But we need to move on to.
Dude, what does my tattoo say?
Sweet! Sweet of the week!
All right, Sweetos of the week. Breakman, let's go with you first.
All right. I said earlier, mentioned the Daughters of the Confederacy, and for people who don't know, give you a quick history lesson. They popped up, I think, in the early 19th century or 20th century, one of those two. And their whole modus operandi is to paint the South as rebels during the Civil War.
Well, that part's true. That part's true.
Right, but as rebels against a tyrannical government.
Right.
Not the fact that they wanted to own other human beings. In fact, that was just a little small part of it. Because this was more about their culture.
Yeah.
So that's why they have to honor all these. What do you call the biggest traitors in American history?
The Confederacy.
Right. Yes, the Confederacy. Exactly.
Yeah.
They decided to honor these Confederate traitors with statues across the country, and Daughters of the Confederacy have had a large part in that. They've done things like Georgia textbooks at one point up until I think the early '80s. Yeah. It never even mentioned slavery in the books. In the history books.
You bring up a good point.
It wasn't about slavery. It was about culture. No, no, it was about It was about one side wanted to own other human beings, and the other side said, "What the fuck? Really? Why do you want to own human beings? What is wrong with you?"
Yeah, they were traitors. There's no doubt about that. I don't think that the memorials, the statues, should be destroyed. Breakman. I don't.
Well, you're not gonna like my stinko then.
Okay, hold on.
Or my sweeto, then, I mean.
I don't think they should be destroyed. I think they should be put in a museum of shame. You know what I mean? to where, like, the real history.
There was a museum of shame in the last episode of Legends of Tomorrow.
Okay, something like that, like where you could really get the true history of the Confederacy, and we mentioned it several times, Breakman. They were traitors. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. There's a reason why the North and the South fought, right? The South were traitors, and that's what we were fighting against.
They wanted to start their own country.
Yep.
Because they disagreed with a lot of the principles, and the final straw was a Republican president got elected, the first Republican, and he was he was pro-abolitionist.
Yep.
And they did not like that.
Yeah,
They wanted the right to own people.
Right. And it was about money as well, and some other things, but the main thing was slavery, right?
Yeah. The main thing was rich white people wanted to own other people because they were less than people. They're not.
Yes.
They're not people.
Right. Yeah. And now we have protests today. So I mean,
right.
it's ridiculous.
And speaking of those protests, going back to my Sweeto,
yes,
even though you're saying you don't want them destroyed, because of what they mean, the reason those statues were put up, I want them all destroyed. I think they should be just broken and shattered and desecrated.
No.
Well, let me see. The daughters of the Confederacy had their building set on fire, and some of their stuff was destroyed beyond repair.
At the very least, they should be uprooted from their position and put in museums somewhere.
I agree with Eric on this. I vehemently disagree with you, Break, for one reason only. In principle, I agree with you, Breakman. Every fiber of my being is anti-racist, right? Mm-hmm. And I used
to agree with it. Like, this is part of history and stuff like that, and I get it. Like, I get where you're coming from, but knowing that these were designed and still being used today with the intent of lionizing traitors and saying that, hey, our side was good and we're just it's the other side is still bad, basically. It's still saying that it's us versus them.
What about this? What about a museum with pictures of said memorials after or before they were destroyed, and an explanation of why they were destroyed and the true history of the Civil War and why the true history, not the one that they gave us in the bullshit books back in the day, but the true history and why these people are actually traitors. Because I think if you destroy history, Breakman, you can't learn from it. You know what I mean?
Those are recent history too. Like these statues, all this stuff happened years after the Civil War, like 100 years after the Civil War.
No, I understand that. I totally get it, but I think if we lose that, then we'll lose a little part of why it was so bad. You know what I mean? Like I think we should know the true. Like when you get taught, think back, Breakman.
I agree with you. Like history we should learn the true history. Right. I'm just saying that like we shouldn't have memorials.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree.
They should have never
statues.
A museum for things that should have never existed.
Yeah.
So that was the whole Legends of Tomorrow concept.
Right.
So my God, it was such a great episode.
So here's my point, Breakman. Like back in the day when we were learning history, right? When you were learning history in like, I don't know, like middle school, probably you learned history, right? Your first introduction to history, like the Civil War and World War II and all that shit, right? When I was learning it, there was a romantic way of teaching the Civil War, right? It wasn't the way that it really was, right? Like brother versus brother and the real reasons behind the war. It was just we had two different opposing views and, we had it out and the North won, right?
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Maybe this is relevant. Maybe this is why my perspective is different. What race was your Civil War history teacher?
White. I
was taught by a black man.
Wow. Okay.
So I wasn't taught like that any of that romanticized bullshit. Like the South was evil.
Yeah. I
just learned that an African American whose name is George Crumb invented the potato chip. 1853.
Yeah. There's a lot of
the favorite snack food of white people everywhere.
Yeah. I
You
bet
gotta give
you.
up potato chips, racist.
Yeah. I mean,
so I'm wondering like if that played into it. You know what I
it
mean?
definitely. I'm happy that you had an African American teacher, Break, because that perspective was the true perspective, and you got very lucky because most teachers will teach it the way that best puts the Confederacy in a decent light at best. You know what I mean? Like, there's no way around it. They were traitors, you know, but you'll never
Right.
see that in history books. Like, even if today you look at the...
my teacher, well, they just taught us. They didn't sugarcoat anything, but they didn't like explicitly say it's evil. It's just like, oh, so this happened and this happened, and then that's
Yeah,
it.
instead of saying these were traitors and the North was definitely on the right side of history, I mean, it's always taught of like it's a 50-50 thing. Like Trump says, there's good
It's like,
people on...
I knew
There's
better,
good people
and
on
most
both
of the people
sides.
Yep.
in my class knew better.
Yeah,
But,
yeah.
There
So,
are always good people on both sides. You can find them somewhere. Like it's just
well, even Hitler treated his family good, Brakeman.
right.
You know,
like
so...
Hitler liked art. You know, he was an artist. So
Yep.
does that make art evil?
Right. I mean, it's ludicrous that the way that we're taught things in school,
Yeah.
and I just wish there was a way of redoing that to the true way things were and how they happened. And the information's out there, but it's not taught in schools. You have to seek it out for yourself.
Well,
You know?
like I said, like the Daughters of the Confederacy, they made sure, like states like Georgia, for instance, were teaching that it was all about our
Culture
history,
and
our
history.
culture, our culture,
Yeah.
and we're rebels. We rebel against a tyrannical government type
Yeah.
thing.
No, that's a
Yeah,
romanticized
that's not
version.
how that happened.
Nope.
Thanks. Well, I mean, that's what you were saying at the
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
I mean, that's basically how they advertised it at the time. But the whole point was, I mean, one of the main points, besides money, was that you want to own human beings.
Yeah. Okay, we need to.
Sorry.
That's okay.
But
We
it's
need.
supposed to be Sweetos, I'm sure. But my Sweeto goes to like the damage that's happened to a lot of these
I think
statues.
the
I know,
UK's
I know you disagree with me, but I like that.
I
There's
think
been
the UK is actually
destroyed
more
statues.
racist than the US, though, because
I'm not.
'cause guess what they did when slavery ended?
I don't.
They
have
had a
any-
bill that basically paid reparations for the slave owners
Yeah.
for the
Yeah.
loss of property.
And a lot of shit like that happened here.
And
too.
it
Yep.
took
Sure did.
so long that they only finally paid all off the debts like 3 years ago.
That's
No.
so stupid.
4 years ago.
As the war was ending and stuff, there were a lot of plans by Lincoln as to what he was going to do with the freed slaves and stuff like that. There were plans for him to give them like different lands, like places like Florida, for instance. Like a lot of Florida would have been like black-owned stuff, but he was assassinated, and the guy that came in after him was racist as a motherfucker.
Yeah.
So
what a
so
shame.
all that shit went to hell, and basically they started, doing everything they could to ramp or boost up the South.
Yeah, more shit you won't learn in fucking textbooks. That's great, man. I'm glad you knew that, Break. That makes me kind of.
What's with the shake weights?
Oh, I was talking about in the Legends of Tomorrow. Their Museum of Shame. Things that were in it were things like the shake weight.
This is Futurama, right?
What?
Legends of Tomorrow. This is Futurama, right?
No. That's a
No, Legends of Tomorrow.
DC.
This is a show.
Yes.
Yeah, it's
Oh.
a show.
Yeah, and in the season finale, they had a Museum of Shame, and it was all the mistakes humans had made over the years.
The thong song.
The things like Floby, and then there was the thong song, and Cisco performed at it. And shit like
I'm
that.
not sure what Floby was.
It's this thing to cut your hair, right? If I'm correct.
Right.
It was like a vacuum.
It was a vacuum cleaner for your hair.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
almost thought it was something related to a frisbee.
No.
Yeah,
No.
like the bad ideas of human history.
Yeah.
So things like that, and then they had like Stalin and villains and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
Was the Corsetta part of it? Because I think that's a mistake.
There were a lot of things. I didn't see all of them because I.
What about high heels? Those were
missed it.
mistakes.
Glitter was on the list.
Glitter?
Glitter.
Yes. I fucking hate glitter so much. I was happy to see that.
I like glitter.
Oh, I
in-
thought you said litter.
No, glitter. Like glitter gets everywhere. It's the worst.
The only place glitter is good is in strip clubs. That's it.
Or Harley Quinn shooting them at cops.
Oh God, that was I should have did my review of Harley Quinn, but I'll do it next week. I just saw that movie. It's a riot. It's fun. So, all right, let's move on, guys. Break or
Yeah,
Eric.
what are your guys' sweetos? I've been hogging the show.
I don't have any.
Mine was the Buffalo Police. There were 57 police officers that resigned because they felt that the 2 officers that got suspended for almost killing that 75-year-old, 57 of them resigned. So now there's 57 less pieces of shit in the Buffalo Police Department.
Oh,
so that's
about that. That's actually not what happened. They
Wow.
quote unquote resigned, and
That's
they
what I
did
said.
it for 2 other officers.
well, whatever. They're
They're still
gone.
employed.
But they resigned. How are they still employing? They resigned. They're done.
Because
they're out
the
of there.
way they worded it wasn't correct at all.
Well, whatever. I mean, I think that like if they got rid of those 57 people, good riddance to them because fuck them.
I think they suspended.
They suspended 2 officers and then 57 resigned because they felt that suspending those 2 officers was too harsh of a punishment for pushing that fucking guy down and almost killing him. And that says even more about the police department that we already fucking knew. So let's move on to our free.
I'm looking up the story now so we can get clarification on it.
Okay.
Let me see here. As the story is not loading, for whatever reason, 57 police resigned to support officers fired for. Let's see here. Shit. Fucking ad pop up and
Yeah.
shit, of course.
Always ads.
Fired for New York State, 57 police resigned to support officers fired for shoving 75-year-old.
Oh, they finally fired the officers. The latest I heard was that they just suspended them. So wow, that's new. So, but yeah,
They're resigning because they're supporting the cops, not because they hurt somebody.
right.
That's not really a sweeto.
No, it is a sweeto because that's 57 less fucking pieces of shit on that police force. That's why
It
it's
was
a
the
sweeto.
entire emergency response team.
Yeah. Okay. Wyland
They
says
will still be employed by BDP and be paid, but they will no longer work on an emergency response team.
Oh, good.
Oh, so they're still going to get paid.
Oh,
That's
fuck
lovely.
that. Fuck them. If they resign, they should just fucking just be resigned from the whole fucking force. That makes it less of
Turn
a
in your
sweeto.
badge completely, fuckers.
Yeah.
It's like they're resigning, quote unquote, still getting paid to protect a guy who almost murdered a man. I mean,
Yeah.
he's in the hospital right now. He still might die.
Yep.
That's why I don't think it's
murder
much of a
peaceful
sweeto.
old man.
Yeah. See, I didn't.
I didn't have all the info.
I didn't know. I didn't
on
have all
hand.
the info either. But if they would have resigned from the force, that would have been awesome. But they didn't, so fuck it. Wyland says his sweeto. He was able to get his order for Dawn of the Dead 4K limited edition before seeing all the shenanigans involved with getting an order in. I wished I would have ordered that, Wyland, but I didn't get a chance to. So that sucks. Freak says they resigned from a special task force they were in, not from the police. That's
Yeah.
that's
So
the part.
essentially, they're going to be paid to not do their jobs.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, let's move on, guys. All right, I'm going to roll all of these things into one overarching theme here, and it's violence, okay? Jim Sterling did a video that Eric had brought my attention. I already saw the video. But it was about violence in video games, not in the traditional sense, but like from a developer's point of view, and how seeing images of violence, like real life death scenes and hangings and things of that nature, really fucks with the developers, and that's true. That is true. It's one thing to play a video game and become kind of desensitized because it's cartoony and funny and stuff like that. But when you're subjected to and you're forced to look at something, like real life death scenes of death and video of death and stuff like that, it not only desensitizes
So you
you
can give a realistic depiction.
Which is stupid
Right.
because that's a big. It's never gonna happen. I mean,
Right.
it's always gonna be ridiculous because it's a video game.
Yes, and that's why video games, in my opinion, are still good and have no bearing on whether or not a person is violent or not. It may be a small factor in certain people, which has never been proven by any what do I want to say study.
From what I've seen in any study, it's more that those type of people are drawn to the game
Yeah.
itself. Like they're drawn to the more violent games.
Yeah,
Those type of people
yeah.
are already that type of person.
Right. So I think that we've hit that, several times, and we all know where we stand on it. Video games are not the cause of violence, but there is a problem with violence as far as like when these developers like start to get mental issues from having to be forced to see these images over and over, like the people at NetherRealm that have to look at dismembered bodies and other things to get reference. It's like you don't need that. Video games.
They're getting they're getting PTSD.
Yeah,
of
video
sorts.
video games are never, like Eric said, gonna be one-to-one real violence. Even in a game like Call of Duty, which is hyper realistic in certain ways. When you shoot like these people in the head, like it's all cartoony, like the blood spurts out, and it's like, it's very cartoonish and very.
It's a fool's errand to try to make violence in a game realistic. So
Yeah.
them subjecting themselves to this and harming
Unless you
themselves
Yeah.
a
by doing
severe
it.
mental illness, you understand the difference between reality and fantasy.
Yes, yes. So, I think we're clear on that, all right? But
They don't need to make realistic violence. They just need to make stuff happen.
I like realistic violence.
And-
I
and
love
and it
violence
does-
in
Yeah.
video games.
I
but
do
I'm
too.
Anti-violence,
Right.
in real life.
yeah, and we're gonna get to real life here in a second.
Yeah, but I'm just saying they don't need to go the lengths they do.
Yeah,
to,
they don't-
try
they don't
to
need
get
to-
realistic violence.
I don't believe
Oh,
they.
you mean like Frank's saying?
Yeah.
I thought you were saying like trying to be more gory in the
Yes.
games.
No,
Now
I
you're talking about
that I don't
the
mind.
gory
Like
images.
like
Yeah,
I love Mortal Kombat. Like I love seeing the
I
fatalities.
know,
Like,
I love it. The gorier, the
Yep.
better.
Yep, and they're so over the top
Yes.
funny, like
Yes,
the
more fucked up
brutalities.
ways they find to murder people. I love it.
Yeah, I do too. I mean, because it's a video game, and you can
I
pick.
really, I'm totally opposite. It grosses me out. I can't play Mortal Kombat because of that.
See, and me, I'm the opposite. I'm with Break. I love it. The gorier the better. I think it's over the top, stupid violence. Right? It's just
Yep.
It's like a horror movie for me. I love
I'm not saying I don't have a problem playing violent games. I don't seek that stuff out.
Yeah, no, that's
Yeah,
fine,
for
and
instance,
that's
like there's a fatality from Johnny Cage that reminds me a lot of that one of those most famous Freddy kills, the one where he slams the girl's head in the TV and he's
Yeah.
like, "Welcome to primetime, bitch."
yeah.
There's something similar to that in Mortal Kombat with Johnny Cage, like ripping somebody's torso, or no, he rips their chest open or stomach open and use that like as a television.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll-
these are
I
really
mean,
over
I
the
mean,
top gory things.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll play Bulletstorm, but like I'm not drawn to games like MK
Yeah.
because of the violence.
Freak5 says he had lots of thoughts this week. I'm glad your brain finally decided to work, Freak5. That's really cool. Okay, but let me translate that into real life.
Your voice is going
Is it better now? Can you hear
a
me?
little now.
Okay.
You've been like in and out for the last like 10 minutes or something.
Sorry,
like,
guys.
Kind
Is
of
it-
robotic for a moment.
Let me hang up on you guys. I'll call you right back, okay? And then I'll get into this real life stuff. Let me call you right back. Okay, so yeah, it's so weird. I don't know why that stuff does that. Let's try to get the guys back on here. Do we have both of you guys? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. The people who said all lives matter seem to be busting a nut over the idea of killing a rioter. Yeah, see, that it's double standard, Freak5. It always has been, which leads me, it's actually a good segue. Violence begets violence in real life, right? There's a lot of thoughts behind that, and I made my thoughts very clear a couple weeks ago when I was like, what else can black people do? What else can minorities do to get the point across other than riot? Like, I can't think of anything else. Like, they've tried every single way. But my point was, I tweeted out, I don't remember the exact wording, but you guys can look at my timeline and get it. But I basically said, you know, the gist of it is when people peacefully protest and they still get beaten, eventually those peaceful protests won't be so peaceful anymore. So maybe we should start listening to some of the demands, right? So my point being is, like, all over, I've seen a lot of very peaceful protests where the police have incited violence, right? And you know what a lot of it has to do with? The curfews, which is the other thing I want to bring up in Free for All this week. Denver is on a curfew till at least tonight. I'm pretty sure they're going to extend it another week because I don't think these protests are going away anytime soon until we get some type of police reform or, you know, some type of shit going on. But the point being is our curfew at first was 8 o'clock, which is absolutely ludicrous. I am 100% vehemently against curfews for this reason or only. Curfews only give police license to beat the shit out of people, right? That's it. They don't curb looting. They don't curb rioting. All it does is give the police a reason to beat the shit out of people and to incarcerate people.
Not like they really needed one because they're just abusing their power to begin
with. But it gives them even more free license to do that. So that's why I'm 100% vehemently against curfews, right? It gives, like, in other words, if I'm out past, now it's 9 o'clock, right? They raised it to 9 o'clock for some weird fucking reason. Like an hour is a magical fucking cutoff time to when people fucking go crazy. The only reason that I see people going crazy, there's two reasons. One, there's systemic racism in the police force and police brutality, right? And two, the police incite fucking riots. I've seen it over and over and over again, up to and including what we talked about earlier, Breakman, when Trump decided that at 6:30, which the curfew was at 7, and there were peaceful protesters.
Don't forget, most of the rioters are the police. They're plants.
Right, and I've seen video of police.
Well, I've seen teenagers too. Like, they're young kids that are just looking to cause trouble, and they're angsty out doing that too. And those are the ones that are they're using as, like, Antifa. You know, the whole, like, it's Antifa. They're across the nation.
There's no
this
connection.
mythical group is so big they're across the nation in every city right now.
Right.
Like, you're saying this Antifa group is as big as the police force.
It absolutely,
according to, like, Fox News.
Right. And it's no such thing. And there was a big group that I can't remember. It was like a credible like website, not website, but like it was like John Hopkins University. It wasn't them, but it was like something very prestigious that already debunked the notion that Antifa had anything to do with any of the protests or riots. Okay, so
it literally means anti-fascist,
right?
Which, why wouldn't anybody get?
If you're not
according to the phone companies, they said that just going with cell phone records, like 90% of the people lived or like, what was it? 85% of the people lived in that neighborhood.
Yeah.
And then, like, the other, like, 15% were from surrounding areas.
Yeah.
Of course, some shitty Japanese lawmakers are trying to call the indigenous people, the Ainu, Antifa.
Yeah, whatever.
Just make excuses to, you know, be prejudice against them.
Right. So let me finish chat here. Freakpie says the people who said for years that Obama was going to turn the military on U.S. citizens and how horrible that would be, were cheering Trump, saying he was going to do that. I think you know the reason as well as I do, Freak 5. It's because if the military's turned on people of color or causes for people of color, then there's no problem. But if it's for anything else, then there's a problem. So
this is Drew Brees' perspective.
Right. You're exactly right, Breakman. Freak Pie says I had an Nexus.
Freak wasn't here. He didn't get to hear the Drew Brees impersonation.
Yeah.
I don't think.
You want to
do? You want to hear my Drew Brees impersonation, Freak? I'm gonna give it to you anyway.
Go right ahead.
Yeah. Here's him sitting at home. man, all those black and brown people are always causing so much trouble.
I wonder why.
Yeah.
Why.
All those poor police officers, why do they gotta deal with this?
Yeah. Freak says, I had an ex's friend say violence begets violence, blaming the riots for the violence used on them. I told her the first act of violence was the police killing someone. The riots are the violence the police begat. See, that's a great point, Freak 5, and it's the point that I've been fighting with. I'm going to tell you guys straight up. I've been fighting with my mom for the past few days for exactly that. I said, if the police wouldn't have killed George Floyd, there would have been none of these riots and looting and all kinds of bullshit that's going on, and more police killing and more police shooting. I saw an awful video of a police shooting a protester in the head with a rubber bullet, which is absolutely illegal. I've seen him shoot people in the leg. This guy a white guy had his leg eviscerated by a fucking rubber bullet. And you know what those rubber bullets are the way you're supposed to use those rubber bullets? You're supposed to shoot them at the ground so they bounce and lose some of their velocity before they get to the crowd, right? They're not using them that way. They're shooting people with them because that's what they love to do.
I mean, yeah, we've seen videos of them shooting at cameramen and shit. Like, it's the cover up is really pissing me off.
Yeah, and the mainstream media, you know, here's another problem I got. When they cover things like the murder of George Floyd, you know how they put it? The death of George Floyd. It like he just died of natural
you mean
causes.
The guy who was screaming for his life and then screaming for his mother?
Yep.
Yeah.
He was already dead.
And if you don't think a cover up is going on with George Floyd, just look at the final autopsy report where it said that he died of a heart attack. They alluded to the fact that he had a bad heart and you know some lung problems.
Yeah, you know what would cause a bad heart to have a problem is when the flow of blood is restricted.
Yeah, they didn't put that. The flow of
oxygen is restricted. It might cause somebody with a heart problem to have worse heart problems.
Yeah.
Jesus fucking Christ. That's
Number one,
I'm not a fucking doctor and I understand that.
Yeah.
I mean, fuck.
It's kind of funny, Breakman. The independent person that did an autopsy after the county did their autopsy found none of that. And found the opposite, that he was perfectly healthy, and the only thing that killed him was, oh, look at that, asphyxia due to some asshole former cop putting his fucking knee on his neck.
It shouldn't matter though, even if he had like existing
right.
ailments. Like if he had a heart issue, what gives anybody the right to just cut somebody's air off like that?
I agree. I totally agree. I mean, it's atrocious. Everybody saw it. Not too many people care about it, though, you know. So I don't even know what to say about the whole situation other than...
Well, the disinformation network has been in full swing. Like I said, they don't talk about any dirty deeds cops do. It's all about Antifa. Antifa's done all the rioting.
Yeah, it's always a distraction. That's the problem I've been fighting with my family, and the point I was trying to get. I'm glad you brought me back to it, Breakman. I've been fighting with my parents because I'm trying to get them to understand that the whole problem is police brutality. None of this would be going on if there weren't systemic problems within the police force, right?
And many people going out of their way to cover it up.
Yes.
Not just police force, but like the media.
The media, the fucking coroner in that case.
But when I say media, I don't, that's really vague statement because there's a lot of media out there that's pointing this out, that's doing everything they can to get it.
You mean the mainstream media, not the independent media that's out there. The mainstream, like CNN, who's complicit in this whole fucking thing. MSNBC, Fox News is a huge one that's like, oh man, you won't hear anything from them. OAN.
I mean, Laura Ingraham, for instance, God, did you she what'd she do last week? She praised Drew Brees or this week she praised him like he should have his own opinion and stuff like that. But anytime a black guy has something, a black athlete says something, she's like, stay in your lane.
Yep. Yep. I mean, she's a racist. There's no question about it. Just like Tucker Carlson, man. But that's Fox News MO, man. They've got a bunch of racists.
I was just using the example because it's the most recent thing. It just happened.
Freak 5.
racist beyond belief, and there are people sitting at home that they don't see the riots because they're not happening close to them,
right?
Maybe, or they live in a community where it's just there's not many black people, for instance, or something like that, and they're sitting at home and watching this Fox News, and they think that's the truth.
I didn't see that video. Freak 5 is telling me something new here. He says watch the video when he's put in the ambulance. It wasn't EMTs who put him in the ambulance. His pulse wasn't even checked. Is that surprising, Freak 5? Like, it's a black guy. Like, if it was...
It's all about covering it up. Like, every time one of them screws up, the so-called good ones all rush in to clear... like, no, that's not what happened.
Yeah.
No, he was trying to do his best.
Yeah. I mean, they're out of control. I think we can all finally come to an agreement that there is a systemic problem with the police in particular. And there is cover-ups, like Breakman said, for sure. So... what do we do? Again, I come back to that point. When nothing else is available, none of the tools are available to us or to the protesters, what do they do? The voting doesn't work. We've tried that for centuries. Speaking out, silently protesting. I mean, fucking Colin Kaepernick took a fucking knee, and that doesn't work with people. So what works? I mean, I'm at a loss. I think, we might disagree a little bit on this, but I think the riots actually are being helpful in the long term. Short term, there's a lot of loss of life, there's injuries, there's bad feelings, there's PTSD, there's a lot of stuff. But I think long term, this might be the only solution that we got. And I don't condone violence, but when you're it's like an animal when they're put in a corner, right? Eventually that animal's going to attack. He doesn't want to. He's trying to get away from you, but if you corner him, he's going to fucking bite. He's going to attack. He's going to do what he needs to do to survive. And that's what minorities in this country, alongside their awesome Caucasian allies and brown allies and black allies and Asian allies, are finally standing up and saying enough is enough. So I'm sorry we had to go 2 weeks with this, guys, but it's super important, and it's one of the things that I've been talking about for how long now. I'm very passionate about it, and I will continue to talk about it. Did we lose Break again?
No.
Are you here, Break? No, we did. We lost Break.
Should we save virtue signaling and moral licensing for next week?
Yeah, we're going to have to save moral licensing and virtual signaling for next week. I almost feel like we're preaching too much, Eric, but it just needs to be said. And I'm sorry we have to talk about this every week, but it's super important to me. It's super important to these guys. It's super important to all of us. It should be important to all of us. And I'm glad we're finally, I guess, seeing the light on this. I mean, I hope things change.
I think one of the overall points of the protest that's going on right now is we keep saying George Floyd. He is the latest one.
Yep.
This is a string of events that keeps happening year after year, where cops kill innocent people.
Yep. Eric Garner, Philando Castillo, Aubrey Edwards.
And white people should be up in arms too, because they kill innocent white people too. We shouldn't be going out of our way to defend the police. They have an impunity to murder us.
Yep. And they always get away with it. I mean, 99% of the times, unless there's a video of a cop going up to somebody, and even then, there was an event that happened in Cleveland. It was a kid. I think it was Tamir Rice.
Yeah.
The cop went. I mean, just without impunity.
John Crawford III. I always bring that one up.
Yep.
He was down, and the cop comes over and shoots him again, I guess to make sure he's down. And the cop gets charged with nothing. Yeah. To me, he executed the guy.
Well, you saw the Philando Castillo video, right?
Right.
I mean, it's the same shit over and over and over. Break. That's the point that you're making. It happens way too much, And
and we keep hearing it's addressed and there isn't systemic racism
there
or anything
is.
like this. And there's
There
not,
is.
and it's not always racism. Sometimes it's just you cops are fucking trigger happy motherfuckers who want to shoot anything that moves for some reason, or
Yeah.
you're looking for a fight.
Yeah, if you're scared to do that job, it's not the job for you. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, it's just not. You know, if you're always afraid for your safety, you really shouldn't be a police officer. There's been,
and it's like, what is it? Like 40% of police officers have reported, like their wives have reported domestic violence incidents.
yeah, that's just the ones that are reported, man.
Right.
it's-
That's the meme. But like, is it 40%? I know it's high.
It's at least 40. The study says 40%, but it's probably more like 75 to 80%. Like because
And that's the kind of people who are drawn to the police force.
Yep, and it's a systemic problem. It just is. They need to be trained better. I've even
Yes.
had thoughts of like personal liability insurance. Like if we can stop, you know, asking the taxpayers to pay for these people's mistakes. Like I've seen settlements for $10 million, $12 million, you know, 100,000 here, 75,000 here. Like if the police were personally responsible and had to pay their own insurance, maybe some of this shit wouldn't happen, you know.
Yeah.
Also training. The training's got to be better.
Yeah, they need to be trained to de-escalate a situation where we've
Yep.
got a lot of these cops we've seen in these videos. They're looking
Escalate
to,
it. Yep.
Yeah, they want violence.
Yep.
Like, this is what they've been waiting for. Rioters, yes, finally. I
Can't
get some
wait.
action.
Yep, you're right, Breakman. Even in First Amendment audio videos, you'll notice the demeanor of the cops. Like they'll put gloves on, they'll hold their vest, they'll put their hand by their gun. Like they can't wait to kill people. They relish violence and being
This
able
is
to.
what they've been waiting for.
Yep.
This is like this is the moment. Like,
Yep.
This is I get to shine.
Yep.
I'm gonna be a hero. I'm gonna stop all these looters.
Yep.
So you're gonna kill somebody over what, a television?
Yep, they don't care. They know for a fact that they're going to get away with it because it's happened time and time again.
Yeah.
And the union will fight for them.
Yep.
And even the people, most of the people will fight for them other than people of color and, you know, poor people, you know, poor white people and certain other white people like you guys. Like you guys have been with me from day one. You know, we've had our minor differences on things, but you guys understand the problem. You know, it is a problem. And that's the thing, to get people to admit that there's a problem, you know, and it's just not happening. But I digress. We're going to have to end that today. Freakfight says 2 things that really piss me off. The people who say, well, black people kill other people more than the cops do. Fuck off. Those black people are punished for it. Yeah, see, that's the thing. They're punished for it. Yes, it does happen. Black on black crime happens. But those people are punished without impunity.
Well,
You know,
wait. We gotta stop saying that.
What?
That term's gotta go away.
What?
We don't say white on white crime, do we?
Nope. But that's what I'm saying. Like they say
we
that
say
all the
like
time.
Latino on Latino crime.
Nope. It's a stigma. You're absolutely correct, Breakman, and it needs to stop.
It's like hate crimes, crime.
Yeah, crime is crime. It's just crime. That's it. The end. It's not black on black. It's not white on white. It's not white on black, black on white. It's just fucking crime. And what the cops are doing is fucking crime. So can we call a spade a spade? That's what we're saying. Let's call a spade a spade. You're right, Breakman. I digress. Yes.
And another point I want to make before we move on to, and we've said this a billion times, but and it's the exact opposite. The people who enforce the law should be held to the highest standard of it. Because they're tasked with maintaining it.
Yep.
But no, instead, cops have laws that protect them from shit,
I've said that time and time again, Breakman. Like, I think the penalties for police officers should be double. Because they know the laws inside and out, right? So if they break it, it's even more egregious than one of us breaks it. So they should be held to a higher standard, period. Freak5 says second is when they say, why aren't you talking about this unarmed white person who was also killed by the police? Why weren't you talking about it until an unarmed black person? We talk about it all the time. Like this, see, that's why this latest one, Freak5, is super important. That 75-year-old white guy who, by all accounts, was a pacifist and a peaceful protester, got pushed over and toppled over. that's why that's important. So that way we could say, hey, look, this shit's wrong too. It's not right. And a cop did it. And now hopefully you see the point, you know.
No. A lot of cops did it. One, like what couples? It was like 2 or 3 guys knocked him over.
Yeah, and then the rest of them that walked on by and didn't do anything. Yep, absolutely
not
right.
just one guy. This is a lot of cops.
Yep,
I think
and that's. I mean, I can't tell you how much people get up in arms when I tell them the truth. You know, it's like these guys are not good people. They're bad people. These men and women that are on the force are not good people. They don't give a fuck about you. Matter of fact, when they pull you over, they're looking for other things to put you in jail. They're not just giving you a speeding ticket. They want to search your vehicle. They want to know everything about you. They ask questions. You know, they want to put you in jail. So fuck all of them. Fuck every last one of them. And then the 5% that I think are good are only good because they haven't had enough time to realize that they have impunity and you know, can do whatever the fuck they want.
Well, I think in areas like mine, policing has gotten somewhat better. It's not there yet, but like cops work more on a de-escalating issue around here since the last time a black man was murdered by a cop.
You check the news lately?
There have been changes, but it's not enough. You know what I mean?
Not nearly enough, Breakman. It's as bad as it ever was, dude. I'm sorry. I know you probably have maybe a different view because you've seen.
No, I know in a lot of places it is. In a lot of places it's worse than it's ever been.
Yeah.
I'm saying there's some places where it is marginally better, but
here in Denver,
still a lot of work to be done.
Here in Denver, it's worse. It's worse. It just is. And I can't speak for Cincinnati because I don't live there. You live there.
I think a lot of it has to do with who's of the leadership. You know, who's in charge of the city or who's in charge of the police force at the time.
Yeah. Okay, we're going to save the rest of our free-for-all for next week. Should be an interesting discussion on virtue signaling, and moral licensing. We'll get into a little bit of that and have a discussion on that.
Wait,
but
what? Moral licensing?
You have no morals, Breakman, so you know.
Oh, that's right. Never mind.
You have to get a license for it.
Yeah. The first part was my problem. The second part is my response to them. Yeah. When you aren't talking about this, yeah. Why weren't you talking about it until? Yeah. See, that's you know, Freak 5. We get it, man. Like we really do, man. I'm, dude. Freak 5 is an awesome source of a lot of things, and we we get it. Someone else says, why aren't I talking about the white guy? My response is, why weren't they talking about it until now? Yeah. See, that's the thing.
There's a lot of that. Like I said, we've seen time and time again cops kill like unarmed people, not just black people, not just white people.
No, it's
of many races.
One thing that we can definitely agree on, it's a police problem. It's definitely a police problem. But anyways, I digress. We got to run. Let's do our plugs. Let's start with you, Brick.
I mean, just to add on to what Freak's saying, like this is like people should be up in arms about this, and they just like, okay, the cops, they killed somebody in an accident. Oh well, it happens. Yeah. What if it was your your mom or your dad or something like that? What if it was somebody that meant something to you?
They'd be up in arms. They'd be up in arms, and maybe they would look at things. But it's like politicians, Breakman. Nothing ever affects them until it affects them. You know, it's like they don't get it. They're too high on their horse.
Look at, for instance, what happened in England when Boris Yeltsin got COVID-19.
Johnson? You mean Boris Johnson?
Boris Johnson,
yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, see, he didn't take it serious until he got sick, and he was really sick.
Boris Yeltsin.
Yeah, Yeltsin. You're taking us back to the 80s, man. Fucking Cold War shit, man. Okay, Breakman, your plugs, please.
Whatever I'm on, I don't know what it is. It's got me flashing back to the 80s. It must be this.
Oh, yeah, cowbell for sure.
That's not just a cowbell. That's cowbell being rung by a...
Oh, God. I thought we were going to get by 1 week without the fucking harmonica, man.
Why would you think of that?
I really did. I thought I thought it's under the radar.
Is actually the hidden fifth guest of the show.
All right, so what you got for plugs, Breakman?
You can follow me at break_man or at RP Grinders on Twitter, where you can ask me a question, anything at all. We'll answer it.
All right,
I don't
Eric.
think we've turned down a question yet, have we?
No, we have not. We never will.
I know all of us have taken a mulligan at some point, but we've every question has
How
been
dare
answered.
you?
by
I've never taken a mulligan in my life.
my horse stats.
I have never uttered the words "I'm taking a mulligan" when it comes to dear Breakman questions, Breakman. So how dare you? I've never said those words.
That sounds like that's not a Trump lie, because his lies are just completely blatantly obvious. That's like a
how dare you?
What's her name?
I'm walking off this show. I'm walking off.
Press Secretary Barbie. What's her name?
I'm walking off, Kellyanne. I'm walking off.
No. The new one.
McElhaney.
Yeah, her. Yeah, Press Secretary Barbie.
Walking
that
off
sounds
this
like
show.
one of her lies. It's kind of the truth, but
I'm walking off this show. It is completely truthful. There's nothing in that sentence that was untruthful.
Yeah,
Breakman.
you didn't say. You're saying that you never said the word
I
mulligan.
never have.
That doesn't mean you never took a mulligan. You just said you never said it.
How dare you, Eric? Your plug, sir. Get away from that
you can
nonsense.
Find reviews I've written on sites like BostonBasherBrigade.com and TotallyGN.com. And I've got 2 reviews of Shantae and the Seven Sirens, and Lingus Year 1 and 2 for the Switch.
Oh, awesome, man.
And if you like what I've written and you want to support me, sending me as little as $1 on my Patreon, and the link to my Patreon is in my Twitter profile, and that's at EricRPG.
All right, click on that link on his profile on Twitter at Eric
Anybody
RPG.
want to buy me a Turbo Mini?
Yeah,
Can
nobody.
we still get them? I don't know. Do they still sell them?
I don't know, man. I haven't seen any in the stores.
They don't have them in stores or anything.
I know.
Yeah. Well, I think Amazon put a freeze on shipments. So, it's I wonder if you could place an order and then once they ship again, they'll send it out. I don't know.
Hopefully. All right.
I tried to go into GameStop just to buy one, and they looked at me like they're cross-eyed and shit.
What?
What?
What? What is that?
You can go back into GameStops now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
now you can.
They've like most stores, they've got plastic barriers up, and everybody's wearing masks. So it's good.
Yeah. Okay. Plug the harmonica, Freak 5. How dare you, Freak 5? How dare you? You can follow me on
Wait.
Twitter.
This harmonica?
Oh, you son of a bitch. You son of a bitch. You know, I swear one of these days Breakman's gonna get on the air and he's gonna fucking play some Beethoven or something with that
Break
fucking
some
harmonica.
ass, aren't you?
Yeah. All right. Thanks to everybody in chat. Freak 5 was in there. Our good friend Wyland was in
Wait,
there.
now I know why Frank actually hates the harmonica, because it sounds like breaking ass.
Another TV viewer was in there. Fear MS1 was in there. Welcome to the chat. Thanks for joining. Hot local mom. Ooh, I'll take a hot local mom any day. Wyland was in chat as well. Good friend.
Are we
Wyland.
sure that's not a bot?
And I believe I mentioned Freak 5. I don't know. I don't know who's bots and who isn't, but thanks anyways for joining. Frank News, how dare you, Freak 5. Follow me on Twitter, at Frank Branches. You can follow me on any of the systems, RP Grinders, whether it's Xbox, Microsoft, Sony, or Nintendo. I'm hardly ever on the Nintendo or Xbox lately, but I will get to it. So if you add me there, I will add you at some point.
You could probably sell that Nintendo for like $1 billion right now.
I probably could, and I don't want to because I love. I love that system.
You have actual morals.
Yeah, Well, I mean, don't get me wrong, man. If I
Wait, like what Nintendo? Like which version of it?
the Switch,
Oh.
I do.
Have you seen the Switch on Amazon? Like,
It's
Not
ridiculous.
lately, no.
It's ridiculous. Going for ridiculous prices, man. Like,
let's find out. Let's see what they're going for right now.
yeah.
Let's buy a Switch. Whoops, that's not.
I
Okay.
think GameStop was getting some in recently.
Special thanks to the archive listeners out there. You guys are awesome as well. If you want to join the show live, we're live every Friday, 7 Eastern, on both YouTube, Just search RP Grinders.
Do you believe Funkos or Switches will become the new silver or gold standard?
Oh, stop it! Stop
The first
it.
price that popped up is $420 for a $300 system. I see $488 for a $300 system. $379, $510, $599, $579. Jesus Christ!
Yeah.
Seriously.
Thanks to
more than double the price.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I mean not there because I see 700.
Yeah.
More than double the price.
Yep. Okay.
Kidding me.
Thanks to all the archive listeners. Join us live every Friday 7 Eastern on either YouTube, search RP Grinders, or it's twitch.tv/RP Grinders. That's where you can catch archives and also catch the show live. Every once in a while, I'll do like a quick share video on my PlayStation of something that I've been playing, whatever. Breakman needs to learn to play Freebird. Yeah. Play Freebird on that harmonica, man, or Stairway to Heaven.
Frank doesn't like Skinner though.
No, play some Led Zeppelin. Play.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, we can do Led Zeppelin.
Maybe
Stairway to Heaven. I'll do Stairway.
Stairway, Ramble On, Black Dog. Something like that, man.
I saw a YouTube video of Kiss for a Rose being done entirely by seals.
Oh,
even though
Jesus
Puff
Christ.
Daddy ruined Kashmir and should be executed.
Oh, real quickly, if you guys want to check out a really cool video, it's called Animalica, and it's a bunch of animals doing Master of Puppets. It's fucking YouTube gold. It was one of the greatest videos I've ever seen. So, and watch a movie called Hostile, which I reviewed on this show. Make sure you check it out. It's free on Vudu, and if you don't have Vudu, it's free. You can purchase stuff on there, but they have a bunch of free movies that you can watch as well. So that's about it. Anything else that you guys got for us before we take off? Anything else?
Bernie and the threesomes.
What? Is she into threesomes? Is that why?
I'm sorry, I misunderstood what you're saying. Okay.
What happened? What's wrong with having both Bernie and a hot local mom, Freak 5? So there you go. Okay. That's Bernie would be okay with that. No problems at all, man. Bring it on.
You wouldn't be after about an hour. You'd be in so much pain. It'd be the best pain ever, but you'd be in a lot of pain.
Breakman, you'd be surprised how many.
You'd be broken after if there's like 5 women, you'd be broken.
How dare you?
Admit it.
How dare you?
They would break me.
They wouldn't break me.
It'd be great. They'd break me.
Well, that's because you're a weak man, Breakman.
He's named Breakman.
Okay, that's about all we got. Stay safe this weekend. We want to see you back here next week. Stay out of the riots and looting, please. Just stay safe and wear your mask. Don't touch your face. Wash your hands.
And always record cops.
Yeah, always record.
You never leave home without a.
Don't make it obvious that you're recording them, though.
Was that the start of the Star Spangled Banner, you son of a bitch? Are you trying to troll me, Breakman? God damn it. Stay safe this weekend. We want to see you back here next week. Until then, we're out. Thanks, everybody. Wyland is exiled. Son of a bitch. Walking off this fucking show.
Why? Because your bones turn to dust?
How dare you? How dare you?
I'm supposed to read that out loud.
You know, Freak 5 didn't get exiled once this week, and Wyland beat him. What does that say about you, Wyland? Was that your goal? Were you aspiring to be just like Freak 5, Wyland? Is that what it is? You son of a bitch. All right, have a good, safe weekend, everybody out there in chat and, on YouTube and Twitch and all that good fun stuff. I'm trying to work on Twitch. I really don't know how to get it working. I wish Dungeon was in here because he had an article. I wish he could link me because I searched and I don't even know what to do to fix Twitch and make it run better. But a winner is me. Wyland says, "How dare you?" All right, take care, guys in chat.